Yours is started.
Let's see. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. And our mics are hot, by the way. Okay, it's going?
Yes.
All right. We're going to do the countdown. The final countdown. About 4.5 minutes. We'll start this show.
The verge of total destruction while I sit here watching Bob's Burgers reruns.
How do we know we're not eating right now? Oh, did you feel that? Yes, so you're probably awake.
Once upon a time I was unhappy. Now I'm just medicated and I guess pretty jaded. I don't know if it's a lie when I tell you that I'm fine.
Hi, Michelle. I just want everybody to know that my guest left. He just got up and walked away. I'm looking at an empty microphone. I hope he comes back. You think you messaged Doug on Facebook or you thought about it? Oh, I do that all the time. Oh, he's back. Yay. There he is.
I told you I'd be here before we started. Why are you cackling over the intro titles? You're fucking it all up. Can they hear us?
I was scared. Yeah, we're hot.
I was just kidding.
I mean, our mics are hot. Obviously, we're hot.
No, you're hot too. Thank you, Chow. I did have to pee, but that was earlier.
Yeah, sure. Tell them that story. Tell them the shore story.
6 feet under
We don't have to tell them what it really was. Thank you, Chow.
All right. Hello, Abnormal
This is a
Gale.
sick intro, by the way. Such a
Well, we're
cool
going to do
intro.
the intro right now.
Oh, well, we're definitely getting copy claim for that bitchin' song you just used.
Oh, that's my son's song, so we're in clear.
Oh, cool. Fucking A.
Okay. Let's start this show.
Please put on your 3D glasses and witness with us a three-dimensional television spectacular.
Everybody has to say hi to Noel.
Hi, I'm Noel.
Hi,
If you're
Noel.
having a little trouble with the picture on the TV now, maybe you just need to adjust the tracking on your VCR. If you need help, just call Mom or Dad or Big Brother or Big Sister. They'll help you. See you soon and enjoy the show.
I'm Dr. Raspberry Moore. This is my youthful assistant, Kent. Kent is an expert at running the 16-millimeter projector, right, Kent?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. He's practiced for years on how to run the 16-millimeter projector. And you, too, can learn how to run the 16-millimeter projector. Kent's going to help out today. Right, Kent?
Who knows what we'll find? Memories left behind. Sit back and hit rewind. We're going on a ride through the VCR guides.
Yay! Hello, greetings.
Sick intro.
Welcome, thank you. Welcome to a very special episode of VC Archives VHS Watch Party. It's a little chaotic. We're simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube, and it's a bit crazy because I have a guest, and I'm going to bring him on. There he is. Everybody, this is Doug. My friends don't know who you are, but your friends know who you are. So we got to figure out how to explain to each other's people who we are.
I can explain it really easy. Joni was
Okay.
on my show. I'm an ex-Scientologist. She grew up in, had some Scientology adventures herself in Portland, Oregon, where we interviewed her. So we're both basically ex-Scientologists in a nutshell, and we're going to be watching a ridiculous Dianetics video and just commenting on it. And Joni is from Twitch, so this
Yes.
is all new to me. It looks 1,000 times cooler than YouTube. I'm simulcasting on YouTube. And we're just here to hang out for an hour or so and watch this ridiculousness. By the way, Joni, to do something where we don't have to always talk about, or at least me and some in the X community, it gets tiring to always talk about trauma. So I'm really happy that you actually invited me on here so we can have a little bit of fun and not take things so seriously all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I do on my channel is we watch VHS tapes and we enjoy them, laugh at them, have fun with them. That's just what we do. We watch VHS tapes. And I happen to have, I forgot to put it in. I happen to have a 1992 How to Use Dianetics tape.
Fucking I haven't seen that for
Oh,
so many
thank
years.
you. I got a subscription. Thank you, Abnormal
What does that mean in the world
Gale.
of Twitch?
That
nice.
is, it's a little different. Like you can subscribe to people on YouTube for free, but on Twitch, it's paid. So it's
Really?
pretty special to get some to. But Abnormal Gale used their free Prime subscription. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one subscription every month to give to whoever you want. So
Really? Hey, this is a perfect
Yeah.
place to plug Joni. If you're new to Twitch and you want to go in her comment section and become a member, could you tell my people that are watching if they want to? Because we can't comment here, but over there's some perks. Could you tell them where the hell they could find you if they wanted to join you right now?
it's twitch.tv.
Can I drop a link or something?
No, you can't do anything. I know it's hard for you to be so
I
powerless.
can.
You can in
I'm
your
not
own chat.
powerless, though, Joni. That's what I want to do. So tell me the link so people can go to it.
Twitch.tv/VC Archives.
/
Oh, that's Abby from Discord. Oh, hi.
More
I have
time, please,
literally
if you don't mind.
2 viewers right now, so you probably have way more than me.
They're wanting to know what your Twitch is. So
Twitch.tv
twitch.tv / VHS.
VC Archives. It's right under your
How the
face.
hell do you spell
Look,
that now?
It's right under your face on that
Okay.
graphic.
Got it. VC.
It's just VC in archives. But if you say it, it sounds
Ooh, you
like
did that. That's very
VCR
clever.
archives.
Full undivided attention in 1 second.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
I'm very today.
There it is under Stewart. Twitch.tv/VCR. Okay. Please carry on.
Yeah.
If you guys want to join Joni, that's where she's at.
There's some fun commands that are they're all kind of in jokes to my community. Weird videos and things may pop up occasionally. That's just people in my chat announcing their presence. But listen, I have to show you something dumb that I made. Because, okay, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning this morning, when it occurred to me that J&D means joking and degrading, but also Joni and Doug.
Very,
Right.
very
And
clever.
I was so...
Again, I see what you did there.
I was so tickled by this at 2 o'clock in the morning that I had to make like a little video. It's... Okay. So, this is what I made for us today.
Way.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. That's
At 2
fucking
o'clock in the
great.
morning. That was
You've
so
already
funny to
sold
me.
me on a weekly
So-
show just with how synchronistic J and D fits in and fucking
Joke and
Hubbard. That was
degrade.
nice.
Yes. That's what we're here to do
That
today.
was fucking cool, Joni. I like that.
To people who don't know, joking and degrading is something that they would get mad at you for doing in Scientology because they have no sense of humor at all. At all.
I'm actually gonna read
Caitlin,
off that
hi
definition.
Caitlin. There's somebody here from my usual crowd. Hey Caitlin,
Nice.
this is Doug. So Doug is an actor. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what are things that maybe my folks would be like, "Oh, I saw that. He was in that." Like, what are the
Probably nothing. I mean, I only I had a big role on a show called American Heiress, but other than that, I mostly did guest star roles. So I appeared on Nip Tuck, Knight Rider, Cold Case, and a bunch of other TV shows as guest star roles. So they would probably not recognize me. The very first thing I ever did was an extra in the movie Basketball, which I noticed somebody in my chat. I see you're hogging the chat, Joni, which I just talking to your exclusive people. We're turning back into a cult. Said that it's not on my IMDb, and it wouldn't because it's simply extra work. So nobody's going to know me. I was going to, quote unquote, become famous because right before I snapped out of the cult, I signed with a big agency. I finally worked a decade to get enough credits on my resume where I was going straight to producers on the auditions, and I was kind of guaranteed to get on a show and have a career. That all changed when my life changed and I got out of the cult. So unfortunately, or fortunately, nobody's going to know who I am. And I didn't really want to be famous anyways. I wanted to be a character actor so I could live a normal life. People wouldn't know who I am. And then I could also make a living doing what I love, which is playing different people.
I know. I have some friends who are very comfortable in exactly that position. They can just, that's their job. They don't have to worry about overexposure or people knowing who they are. They can just be an anonymous, regular person, but still totally have a career doing
Yes,
character
being
parts
famous
and
would
commercials
really
and stuff.
Be a nightmare. It's not something that I think people even would want.
It's certainly not for everybody. But anyway, I have a short video I cut together. It's about a minute long. That's just a funny thing that I wanted to show everybody, and I got to figure out how to explain what this is. So this was from I think 2006. So I have a lot of friends who worked in radio in the 90s and the early 2000s. In particular, I did a lot of projects and collaborations with a guy named Rick Emerson, who was a Portland radio personality. And look at him, he's reading. He's not listening to us.
I can listen at the same time while actually following comments. I promise you, it's not even that hard of a skill. to
Okay.
people that accuse me. I'm listening 100% to what you're saying.
Okay, so my friend Rick had a radio show in
I'm
2006.
sorry, what were you saying?
And he had a PA named Scotty J, who was this like 40-year-old guy. Like, he'd completely changed his whole career, and he wanted to be in radio, and he was just a ding dong. And he was, if anybody has any experience in radio, you know, there's always like that one PA that will do anything, that will go out and do any dumb stunt you want them to. So one day, Rick, the host, sent his PA, Scotty J, down to the Celebrity Center in Portland to demand to see evidence of Surrey Cruise. And he made him go down there with a megaphone and yell, "Show me the baby," repeatedly at the
What?
building. Just as a dumb radio stunt.
Okay.
It's very hard to explain what's happening in this video, but they did record some video of it, and I'm just going to show it to you guys because it's just...
Really? How did you
Like,
get
who
that
else-
video?
They put it was on YouTube, and I took
Okay,
it.
let's see
I
this.
pulled it off and I cut it a little bit because it was a little weird in places, but so the edits aren't great. But anyway, so yeah, so this is the "Show Me the Baby" protest of one person, well, two people.
God.
Something happening here.
So that's Celebrity Center. Yeah.
What it is ain't exactly clear.
We are here, don't you know? Show us Surrey, then we'll go.
So he's on the phone the whole time because he's on the air also.
Please show us Surrey Cruise.
Hundreds of men gathered. Or maybe it was like 2 men and a man looking for a sandwich.
We are demanding a cruise baby. So, sir, will you join us, please?
I might get a sandwich first.
Okay, get a sandwich.
I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. I think it's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey,
It's not fair. We all lose. Please show us little baby cruise.
So that was just a dumb thing that happened once that I thought, there's not a lot of people I know who would get this joke. So there you go.
I've never seen that before. That was actually
It
fascinating.
was just a silly little local radio stunt.
Did you know that there's some speculation too that that's not really Tom Cruise's daughter?
I don't know,
don't know
man.
what the
You look at
conspiracy
pictures
theory is, but-
though. She,
No, I
she-
think it looks like him.
she resembles him strongly, I think. So
Yeah,
how's it
she's
going
legit.
with your folks? I don't have anybody over here, so we can just pay attention to. Oh,
They're
Hi,
enjoying it. They
Caitlin.
said that's a little creepy. One Love says this is creepy as fuck. Star R says, I think we're watching the beginning of a love affair between these two. Shh, just don't say anything. So apparently we're falling in love with each other on air, according to Star R.
That's good content.
Inappropriate. Yeah, fucking A. Tune in more often, guys. You never know where the saga's
Yeah.
going to lead.
Will they? Won't
Chow, Chow, known as Cricket. I worked in radio, and this is a true thing.
they? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Hi,
they're
Japan.
tracking, in other words. Oh, you got Japan in your chat.
Japan says, I do think that Suri is Tom's biological daughter, especially once we found
There
out
you
that
have it.
Nicole had an ectopic pregnancy with Tom. Ooh, I didn't know that. Hi, Japan.
What was the conspiracy theory about that? Do you remember it all? Remember there was people.
No, I just couldn't care less, to be honest. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Never really paid attention.
Oh, Japan says she's in both chats. Look at you. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Japan is a he.
Hey,
By the
oh,
way.
sorry about that, Japan. Hey,
I
Doug.
misgendered
I'm on
Japan for
both
the
channels.
longest time.
Nice. Do you want to get into this ridiculous video that we're about
Let's
to watch
do
and
it.
explain what it is? And also,
I
Joni,
wanna-
how did talk a little bit about what you do, if you don't mind? I mean, it's your show, but people don't know how obsessed you are with VHS and where did that come from? A little bit of background.
I don't know. Several years ago, I have a friend named Todd who has a YouTube channel called Dr. RIP VHS, and he began like collecting them. and we shop in the same kind of thrift stores. So I started grabbing ones that I found that I thought he would like and giving them to him. And then he became overwhelmed, so I just started keeping them for myself. And then I started a couple of live stream channels and just started using them, and then I built a whole show around it. So I don't know. It's something to do. It is a very cheap hobby. It's, as far as hobbies go, very cheap. So it's something to do. It's something to collect.
Where do you find new VHSs, by the way, since there is no more anymore? Are you
I go to the
internet?
the Goodwill outlet where you buy stuff by the pound out of giant bins. It's like dumpster diving, but inside. So and you have to fight other people who are like scrounging. It's pretty intense, and it's very dirty, and sometimes you touch things that are wet. But so I buy them by the pound at the outlet store.
You buy VHS videos by the pound?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. Okay.
If you get like 50 tapes, it comes to be about $50. It comes to like a buck a tape.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's just what I do. Well, you know what? We'll look at what I do. We're going to play this tape. We're going to talk all through it.
Why don't we look at what you do? That's just an idea that
saying.
popped into my head. Okay.
We'll watch. Yeah. Just everybody manage their expectations. This is not a good tape. It's real dumb.
I know,
and
we're
boring.
not Scientology apologists before anybody accused us of that. I don't like Scientology at all. I lost everything to it, but it is nice to
we're going to make fun of it.
Relax and
Feels
watch
good.
the ludicrousness that I used to believe in.
Let's debunk this shit.
Fucking A. There you go.
Ruh-roh. Now we're going to get in trouble. We're not. It's fine. Oh, I could try to read it again in the...
Quick question, Joni, if you don't mind me
voice.
asking. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Before you read it and they satanic death metal voice,
it's already going.
Can you pause it? Surely you have the ability
one
to
time.
pause and rewind the tape, for God's sakes, Joni.
I'll pause it
You
one
claim to be
time. What is it? What?
Someone has a quick question, which it's a great question. Where did you get this fucking tape? Because it's kind of hard to find, right?
I don't think so.
Where'd you get it?
Somewhere in my collecting over the last few years. I don't remember specifically.
At the garbage bin, or
to be honest,
what you were
yeah,
just
it would have been
describing?
at a thrift store. So look, we're just gonna talk over it. We don't need to pause for questions.
Okay.
We'll just talk over it.
Fair enough.
Because we're gonna get
I'm
really
new to
bored
this Twitch
with
experience, Joni. You're already laying the hammer down. I don't know what I'm doing.
This is just what I do. I watch so much content on this channel that's extremely boring, so I'm just used to talking over it.
Okay.
Also, sorry, my chair is very squeaky. I meant to fix that.
I love it when you read it out in the baby voice or the death metal voice.
Oh, the baby voice.
The more understanding of this subject, it's gone. I'm sorry.
Jesus. That's terrifying.
All right.
The infamous volcano. This is better than the TV ad that they had on.
Excuse me, do you have any diet items?
What the fuck was that, Jen?
That's stuff coming from Twitch commands.
Okay.
Does
that mean
that may happen occasionally
tipped you or something?
No, that's just somebody
that's
saying. That's sort of the equivalent of somebody saying Xenu on your channel, I guess. Just say,
Okay.
You know those kind of jokes you get with your people?
I'm trying to listen to this classic music that Jeffrey Hawkins came up with. This is what started it all.
Is this Jeff Hawkins' music?
I don't know if it's his music, but he was the creator of that incredible commercial that just hypnotized the population to run down to Walden Books and pick this piece of garbage up. So here's a real fucking session.
#1 self-help bestseller.
And it was back in the day.
Many millions of
Because they kept buying them themselves.
Exactly.
All over the world, people are learning and using Dianetics to improve their lives.
Horseshit.
There are lectures, seminars, and courses delivered in groups and centers.
Abby loves the music.
Hubbard
It's not terrible.
And churches.
It's gotten worse since then.
You need to let me know if you see anybody that you recognize. I know that the primary actors are actors.
Can you pause though? Can you get ready to pause if I do see someone so we can
If you-
show people?
If I do, it's just gonna jump around.
Learn and
It's just gonna do that.
That's fine.
That's not fine.
Do you have the ability to rewind?
It's easy, and this program will show you how.
I mean, under extraordinary circumstances.
You can be more positive.
What the hell, Joni?
We
We're
just play
simply
and
talking
go.
about pausing on somebody if I know that. Okay.
All right.
This is a new world to me. Like I said, I'm on your house. I'm on your rules. So just let me know how to roll here.
Operates on full self-determinism. You can be clear. This program starts
No
you
such
on the
state.
road to achieving that.
I would propose pause and return to full screen.
My life. You know, before
I won't.
Dianetics, I'd had 2 failed marriages. I had this idea of how marriage should be.
See, now, like, this is not a real person, right?
Decided it couldn't be that way.
This is an actor.
Good question.
Dianetics
Yeah,
and getting
yeah.
auditing. I met a man who I've been very happily married to for 10 years.
What she failed to say is she met another
Be
Scientologist.
wonderful. And
Dianetics brought her a man.
7 or 8, I had a bicycle
Yep.
accident, and I injured my knees. As a
Ship
result of the
captain.
injury, I lost all the feeling in my knees, and I couldn't run, I couldn't jump, and it caused a lot of problems for me. I didn't do well in school, and things just didn't go well. Doctors came, doctors went, trying to handle it, and nothing really worked. Then years went by, and I was introduced to Dianetics, and in the very first Dianetics session, we addressed my
The
knee.
name's consultant. Sales
I
consultant.
felt great, but I wasn't really thinking about
And this guy's captain, comma, ship.
outside. When I got outside,
Excuse me, I'm trying to focus on his wins.
across my knees.
Sorry.
It was unbelievable. I felt my knees for the first time in years. Since then, I run and jump. I've done 8 marathons. I sail big boats up and down the coast, and the bad knees are just a forgotten part of the past.
When I first started doing Dianetics, I was very nervous and very skeptical about it. I couldn't believe that it was as simple to do as everybody was telling me. But right from the start, I found that it actually was. It was fun to do. I really enjoyed being helped.
I think he was a real ship captain.
And the changes in my life were miraculous right from the beginning.
Joni, do I seem to be on a delay, by the way? Because I'm delaying over here. I don't know if I'm mistalking out of step.
Positive life.
If you've noticed that.
I urge you to try Dianetics.
No more than usual.
It's simple. It's fast.
Whatever that means.
You get immediate results.
You notice, Joni, how they're giving you the sales pitch on this video, and they're being really vague about the wins and how it saves knees, and it, you know, this guy had a horrible life, and Dianetics fix everything.
There's literally
They
no
have the
way you
sales
could.
pitch.
There's no way you could talk your
Quantify
knees
those
into
things,
working
right?
better.
Is the purpose of life.
But with Scientology, you can. They're going to explain it.
Time, space, energy, and life have a single common denominator. They all began at some point of origin and were commanded to continue to some nearly infinite destination.
What?
I know, right? Already word salad mode.
Order.
Here we go.
Survive.
Total horseshit. That's what Hitler would say.
Well
by the way.
done.
Survive. Pain is physical or mental suffering. The ultimate pain could be just before death, and the ultimate pleasure could be conceived as
Turn it
immortality.
up just a little.
The thrust of survival is away from death and toward immortality. Man, in affinity with man, survives, and that survival is pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
The survival
You agreeing so far?
is the tenacity to life and vigor and persistence in survival.
Can you
Don't
just pause it for
disagree
1
yet.
minute? Or
Survival dynamics subdivides into
okay, maybe not pause it, but we're going to miss a bunch because I just want to say something on the survive, man. You wanted me to break it down. This is an important concept right here because this is what you're hit out of right out of the gate. I'll make it quick. It's a eugenics
I'm trying to be
concept.
flexible
to
to
It's a
accommodate my
Hitler
guest.
concept. He says that I don't want to irritate you though, man. But how am I going to talk about this shit
Yep.
if I'm just going to ramble over the video itself too much? Maybe we can just pause it once in a while to talk about the concepts we learn.
Okay.
Again, I'm on your house rules. I don't want to fuck this up. Real quick, Joni. That's what he taught us. Do you remember that? Like the urge that any man has, that every man has in common is survive. Is if there's no other goals beyond that a human would necessarily aspire to. In other words, we're all machines. It's kind of like, again, something Hitler would say, like the eugenics product. We're just animals and we have to just survive.
How do you link that
Like
to
our
eugenics?
I don't know, like the base drive. Well, I guess because I know that Hubbard was kind of a Nazi-esque eugenicist person in general by seeing everybody as machines and robots that could be manipulated. And he would definitely be down with a New World Order and what Huxley talked about in Brave New World. That's why. But I'm just saying, even looking back at that word survive, where he said, no matter what else man is doing, he's always trying to survive. That sounds like a setup for an Orwellian prison. In other
Sure.
words, I always felt like an artist. I felt like there was much more than just surviving, and that the base drive, you beat a man, you remove his food. In other words, he has to survive. That's what he's saying everybody has in common. So that was his general idea of what the human is. And to me, you're already starting off in a very kind of sick way of looking at what's driving us. It's a long-winded way of saying that.
I don't think it's
You have to be
necessarily.
a Scientologist, because this was beaten to my brain, this concept about survive.
And I don't think it's necessarily wrong. It just seems like it's wildly overly simplistic. And to say it's only to survive.
Right. That's what he
Doesn't
would
feel
always
true
say. It's
either.
only this, it's only that. Maybe that could be a part of it, right? But that's what was beaten into my head as a kid, man, is this fucking survival concept. As you said, it's only about surviving. Please continue. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
I don't really have a flow.
Well, I'm here to break it, whatever it is.
Awesome.
The first dynamic is
These are the dynamics.
survival as
Okay,
oneself.
hold on. I am going to pause it myself this time because I want to see who can name
What the
all 7
fuck,
of them.
Joni?
Can you name all 7 of them?
There's 8 of them, so flunk on that.
Oh.
So can you name? That's a great. So guys, in the chat, what are the dynamics? You know the first one is self. so
First
we'll give
one's
you
a
the
gimme
first
because
one.
it's on the
Cheating.
screen.
And by the way, Joni, while they're
Japan,
figuring that out,
Japan, of course. You're a scholar. You're a gentleman and a scholar and a pedantic fucking weirdo.
Lorna says the survival thing was always bully picky. Never rang true to me. Dog, exactly, Lorna. Dog eat dog. And then real quick, Joni, what we're going to see on these 8 dynamics is the thrust through survival through all of these various things. So again, it's a key concept. Survival's the base drive as to why we're trying to create on these various dynamics.
Right.
Guys, you're doing terrible. Like no one's even
So,
gotten.
okay.
Guys, what's the second dynamic? Take a crack at that. Gur says affinity. That's
I could get
sorry.
up through like 4 and then I'm lost.
Okay. Can anybody
Okay,
guess
yeah, all
number
right,
2?
Japan-
Take a crack at 3. Take a
Japan's
crack
got
at
it.
8. What does Japan say?
Self, family, group, humanity, animals, all life, 6, all life. That's like the environment and the earth and shit, right? Universe, infinity, / God. Let's
That's
see.
pretty close, if not
let's see.
exact. I'm going to look it up.
All right.
We have
Well, we can watch it right here.
expressed fully. This can be called
The tape will tell us.
dynamic.
Look, that's what the first dynamic looks like. It's a man washing his car.
This includes all your personal possessions, your hobbies, your health, and so on. The second dynamic has 2 compartments.
Bow,
One
chicka,
is
meow,
sex,
meow.
and the other is the rearing of children.
It's not only that. Get your head out of the gutter.
Man's urge toward survival.
It's children
as a
too.
future generation.
Hi, VG Viking.
Includes the family
And
unit.
they added on the second dynamic, by the way, Joni,
It also
creativity,
includes
I
sex
think,
as a mechanism to compel future
the
survival.
David Miscavige squirrel.
That's dumb.
Dynamic 3 is groups.
Yeah.
The urge on the part of the individual.
And the most important
That's the
group
thing that's
when
dumb
you become
about all
a
of this.
Scientologist,
That covers
any
any
Scientology group.
temporary or permanent groups, political groups, social groups, sports clubs, or anything like this. Dynamic 4 is survival through man as a species.
Mm-hmm.
This is the mankind dynamic. War is a breakdown on this dynamic.
That's why Scientology goes to war all the time with
Accomplishing
everybody
what you
around
want
them.
in life involves making many decisions and solving many problems.
We got that B-roll.
Optimum solution for any problem would be one that achieved maximum benefit in all dynamics.
But the Scientology, the group dynamic, always being the most important one.
Would
Are
be,
we only talking about 1 through 4?
for example, something
Interesting.
that only
If so,
benefits
well,
self but harms the group
guess so.
or mankind would be a contra-survival decision.
Interesting.
The greatest good may require as well some destruction.
Mm-hmm. Good visual.
For example, A new cure which saves many thousands of lives but kills one could be considered an acceptable cure.
Did you hear that?
But the solution deteriorates in ratio to the destructiveness.
I didn't. I don't suppose you could pause it.
Now, listen.
The best solution to...
Okay, only because I know so many... Look, I don't want to start a controversy. I know Scientologists who are super anti-vaccine. I just want them to pay attention to this.
Mm-hmm. Not very many of them, though.
Thousands of lives, but kills one, could be considered an acceptable cure.
An acceptable cure.
But the solution deteriorates in ratio to the destructiveness.
The tape said so.
The best solution to any problem is that which is the greatest good to the greatest number of beings. This is the basic equation of all rational behavior. The human mind is engaged in resolving problems related to survival on all dynamics.
This is so simplistic. It's so... I think it's designed to bore you into hypnosis where you just accept it.
Resolve problems.
It's really
I don't think you're wrong.
Can be considered to have two major divisions. The first part is the analytical.
Chow, I just added you. I just figured out how to add moderators. So if you don't mind, you got the wrench now. And I can throw it to a couple other regulars if you don't mind modding. You don't have to show up or anything, but since you're here, it's cool to give you the wrench if you don't mind.
A human being is
Let me know, Chow.
Intact. It is called the analytical mind because it analyzes data.
I found the idea of analytical mind and reactive mind very interesting, but also I know it's not exclusive.
Tell me more.
It's not exclusive to him.
Is filed in
No, what was your thinking about what it was?
I just found it interesting. Like it made it. I don't know.
Yourself. Close your eyes and think of a cat.
Okay, everybody.
Did you get a picture of a cat? That is a mental image picture. These are three-dimensional color pictures with sound and smell and all other perceptions.
Look at that kitty with a little nubby tail.
These pictures are composed of energy and mass. They exist in space. They appear when somebody thinks of something. He thinks of a certain dog, he gets a picture of a dog. The mind contains a consecutive record of mental image pictures, which accumulates through...
Picked up 2 mods, yo.
This is called...
Awesome moderators, finally.
It is very exactly dated. If motion picture films were three-dimensional, had 52 perceptions, and could fully react upon the observer, the time track could be called a motion picture film. This information files...
Someone says this is like... Roar said this is like those boring science videos in grade 8 and 9. That's exactly what this reminds me of. They just literally put you to sleep. They semi-make sense, and you're like, whatever. The time track has 52 perceptions, okay.
Or awake, except in moments of unconsciousness, for an entire...
See, we're going to learn where engrams come from.
It apparently has an infinite capacity. The full power of the mind would be the full power of the analytical mind, using the standard memory banks. You use the power of your analytical mind to solve problems in your life. Figure things.
Look at how upstart that guy is.
To create and imagine. Imagination is extremely valuable in solving problems in life.
See, if we ever do a stream about art and Scientology, we're going to dig into that.
Oh, yeah.
And therefore,
the idea that your imagination thrives in the analytical mind is
redonkulous
to me.
Things man likes to think.
If it would thrive anywhere, I think it would be in the the reactive mind's not really a real thing the way you described it, but the subconscious, the right brain, so to speak.
The clear.
What, you want to debate that?
That's what clear looks like.
This is sanity. This is happiness. This is survival.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want to be that guy?
The error. Man is basically good. Man has been wrongly accused of being bad because man did not know about
by who?
Active mind.
Wrongly accused by who?
The second part of the mind.
Just in general, that people do evil shit. You know, if God's real, why does He allow so much torment and shit? This is another thing that made a lot of sense to me when I was a kid. Is that this was an explanation, the reactive mind, to why things are shitty.
Means departure from a straight line.
Or why people act the way that they do.
The lack of straightness, or to see crookedly. A man sees a horse, but thinks he sees an elephant. Where does this irrationality come from?
he's stoned and on drugs? Because I don't know of anybody that looks at a horse as he's an elephant unless they're high.
There are moments when nothing seems to be filed in the standard banks.
Chow rightfully said, man is generally rude and smells bad.
Moments of unconsciousness.
That's a fair assessment.
The shock of accidents.
Chow rules, I just gotta say.
I know, she makes the funniest fucking comments.
The pain of injuries and the deliriums of illness are the principal sources of what we call unconsciousness.
A man sees a
These missing periods can be found in the reality.
Elenis, if you want a wrench, just let me know.
I really want the story. I really want the story behind.
Appear to be, but are not.
Why this guy got in a car accident?
Memory banks
No, I want to know. I want a making of
and physical pain.
interview with whoever made this. I have a lot of questions about
pain. The action of the
Like the producers and the scriptwriter or what?
I want to know who shot it.
The reactive mind kicks in, and these
Probably like Golden Era Productions or, you know, out of their facilities that they have when Hubbard was making movies and shit.
Yeah.
The individual is unconscious in full or
Someone asked if this video triggers me at all. Also, is this what people in Scientology pay for? I don't remember seeing. No, it doesn't trigger me just because I've been away from it enough so I can watch this stuff and cackle. And if it does trigger me, it's okay because it just means there's more programming to peel off, so it's all good. But no, I'm not having a problem watching this at all. It does bring back memories. And then this video isn't too important to Scientologists. Maybe you'll see it once or twice in your career, but it's not necessarily something that they put in front of people when they sign up at the orgs today. It's just sort of a cursory thing that you might do or see. Like, I've never fucking seen this thing before.
unconsciousness.
I saw other
you,
Dianetics
Michelle.
videos like this.
Part of its content. The reactive mind continues to make pictures.
Yeah, this seems like very Div 6.
These
Super dumbed down. Like they only even talked about 4 dynamics. That was weird.
Of every perception present in a
Because it's just Dianetics, which deals with just the 4 dynamics. Did this concept ever make sense to you, Joni, when you were in Scientology and they explain engrams and why you have a reactive and analytical mind?
Let's have a look at how the reactive
It did, to be honest. I was like, that seems reasonable. It didn't seem unreasonable.
did a computation
Oh.
subject of apples and
I love this bit though. All right.
be stated probably
This is the dumbest way to demonstrate
have
an
worms.
engram.
Others don't.
Okay. Just someone asked what year Merca Moon
92.
asked what year this is made. It's in the title, 1992.
The reactive mind would calculate as follows. Apples are worms, are bites, are holes in apples, are holes in anything, are apples, and always are worms, are apples, are bites.
Have an apple.
That was just some pure Hubbard nonsense. I love it.
I know where they're saying A equals A equals A, and it also sounded like a little NLP trick. That was. Did you watch that segment? That made no sense, but you can see your mind spinning with an apple equals a bite equals a hole in the apple.
Apple
In other
is
words,
worm.
A equals A equals A.
Everything else.
Always is bite and worm.
The reactive mind has just one equation. A equals A equals A.
I mean, this is
See,
really
I still
not
know
that
my
different.
Scientologies, Joni.
It's just sort of it's the concept of
The incident
a traumatic a PTSD trauma
works.
just taken
Yeah.
to a real weird place.
Or a scientific way of if Hubbard really believed in that and thought it come from unconscious traumas, that's where your bad shit comes out. Then this would make sense. It's
I mean,
really like
everybody's-
basic Freudian shit.
Everybody's familiar with the idea of being triggered. If you have PTSD, it's very easy to get triggered by a sight or a sound.
Right. That's a good observation, man. They do kind of use PTSD phenomena to explain these engrams.
Honey?
This is so funny, by the way, Joni. These ridiculous demonstrations.
Don't try to move.
Did you hear what he said? She looks dead.
This entire
That's going to be her engram
Wow,
now.
Japan says that she told you, Joni, that the most effective treatment for PTSD is weirdly similar to auditing without the immediate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, look,
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
She is a stupid
the idea of Dianetics auditing, like if it had just stopped there,
These things.
I would have no beef
I
with
know
any
people
of it.
say that, Joni, but seriously though, just getting rid of moments of pain and unconsciousness with Dianetic auditing, it doesn't actually really do anything. It's
It
not
seems
really.
like
Freud would have more sense than with the subconscious than these idea of engrams, because what he's saying is that when you get knocked out, all the sense perceptions of the people hovering over you saying you look ugly, he looks bad, etc. He's saying that those commands and all the sensory perceptions that you receive when you're unconscious, either being blackout drunk or getting knocked out, and how many times does that happen in your life? 10 times at the most. So he's saying that that is the single source of all your problems, simply being unconscious. But that happens so little, it doesn't actually explain or do anything.
But Doug, we don't know at this point.
I know. I fucking did
that it's
Dianetics.
whole
I did it all.
track. It's whole.
Do you
It's
realize you're
millions
talking to
of
a
years
clear-
of engrams. No, I'm just saying. They're
I
not,
will retort by saying I got to OT3. I covered the whole track. It's all.
They're not
horseshit.
mentioning it in this video, but you and I know.
I know, but
that
you'll
they're
learn it when
talking
you
about
get
whole
later.
track.
So long as it is a
If you got $1 million, then you can really find out the secrets, Joni. This is just the basic shit.
The idea, though, of just calmly talking about a traumatic incident with somebody who's polite and says, "Thank you for telling me," that's I got no problem with that. That's nice.
No, that's powerful. That's
a
powerful,
nice
yeah.
thing to do with your friend. Don't
That
make a
was one of the
religion
things
out
that
of
was
it.
hard to give up. Joni, that's what was hard to give up. Having an auditor genuinely listen to what I had to say, that alone was like really, really therapeutic. But you can get a friend to listen to you too, and that intently,
Yeah.
and that would do the same thing.
I never in my life experienced an engram doing anything like this, though. Like, this is ridiculous.
It is.
This is a.
But like you said, it reminds me of the PTSD phenomenon turned into like a therapy or something.
And shocking loss or threat of loss. The third type of incident in the reactive mind is called a lock. A lock is a mental image picture of an incident where one was knowingly or unknowingly reminded of an engram.
Someone asked, what's an engram? It's a moment of pain and unconsciousness stored in your subconscious mind. And it records all the sense perceptions and anything that anybody was saying around you. So for example, if you're in a car accident and someone's saying he's looked bad, it looks like he's going to die, and then you survive it, that would be part of your reactive mind, or that would be an engram, which you'd then run in an auditing session by going over the moment when you were unconscious.
We'll see that.
To hear all the voices around you and somehow perceive what was being said when you're unconscious, get the phrases out of your mind, and then you're supposed to not react in that way, if that makes sense.
I don't get it.
I mean, that's total bullshit science right there, by the way, in my opinion.
Be there.
I don't know why. I just don't want to.
Engrams are mental image pictures, Japan.
Terrible, and I'm starting to get a headache.
And they can run like video. Yeah, there's a whole thing that he has called the time track, where when you go to one of these images, you run them like a movie over and over in your head. And then when you're done with that incident, they ask you, is there a earlier similar time when you got in a car accident? And then you just run these movies through your head. Exactly.
Well, not only that. Oh, wait, hold on.
Of warning of
We're going to get caught up.
when the
Too much is happening. Not only that, but
Yeah,
when
I
you're
know.
doing
We
it,
we should
you have
pause.
to add. You have to add more detail every time.
Exactly.
Right? When you're,
so that's why they're
you
implanting false memories. Exactly.
Yeah. So you'll be like, tell me, they like you're talking about what happened, and you say like it was nighttime, and you kind of tell it in like present tense, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Like I'm walking down the street.
It depends
I'm
on
falling.
yeah, but it depends on what level you're at. That's reverie, which is in the self-analysis and say the first couple grades, but it kind of
Oh, okay.
changes where you run Hubbard's incidents. But yeah, generally you're supposed to be, you really are being hypnotized, but you're said that you're in present time and you're going to send the time track, your memory back to whether it was yesterday or a million years ago. And like you said, you're adding more and more false memories on to, you're literally making
And
it
then
up
they'll have
after a while.
they'll have you tell it again, but add more detail, and then tell it again and add more detail, and it becomes a game
Yeah,
of
exactly.
like
Adding more detail. Make up a movie.
Like that Simon game?
Choose your own adventure.
like
Remember
that
those
Simon
books?
game where you hit one note and then that note and then the next note and then that note and the next, and you have to remember all. Anyway, and you just start making shit up because you're in this like weird kind of trance-like state, and you just start making shit up, and you're like, and it was
That's
raining,
why I'm saying
and I
this
could
is
smell
total
jasmine
bullshit
in the wind.
Psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what it does do, Joni? I can tell you as a kid, it heightened my imagination. It made me believe that my imagination was real. And since I was told by my auditor and my parents that these things were real, it gave me superiority and able to tap into my imagination better, which set me up to really believe in the lunacy on the OT levels. So it's actually a really, really sick trick.
Yeah,
once you start believing in it.
Fair enough. Do you feel like the person got the answer for the engram answer? Were they satisfied with the answer? Because we did talk over that whole bit. Because look, I'm not going to actually make anybody watch and listen to this whole thing. I'm going to be like,
but it would be nice to
here.
go back a little bit. Can you? Are you able to rewind it and maybe run the engram part again? Because it is interesting.
Oh my god! But it's been a while since they started talking about it. Well, look, we're going to get into a session soon, and then you'll get maths.
Fair enough.
On what this? Yeah.
Wow. Already talking. The Scientology is coming right back to you, Joni. I got that.
Okay.
However, man has
I duplicate that fully.
A man's engrams contain.
I understand that you duplicated that.
I understand that you understand that I duplicated that. I acknowledge that you understand that.
Hypnotic commands and have the power to control.
I acknowledge your acknowledgement of my acknowledgement.
Even though there is nothing physically wrong with a person's legs, an engram command can enforce itself on the body.
But there is something
that's
physically
toxic
wrong
as
with
fuck.
his legs, or else he wouldn't be in a wheelchair, right?
That's some
this
toxic
is the whole mind
shit
over
right
matter
there.
thing.
By the mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
All
you,
mind.
actually,
I
for
know.
saying that
Fuck
tape.
You. Exactly. That's why they don't have anything to do with cripples. It's just in their mind. They're making it up, according to Hubbard.
Memory banks of the analytical mind, and no longer have power over the person. To face yesterday requires returning back in time and examining the.
There you go. Here's the reverie / hypnosis you're talking about, Joni.
Recorded at that time with all senses present. Wide awake, the person can return to moments in his past. Until asked to do so, he probably does not know he has such an ability.
That's literally hypnosis.
Some people, when they think of a rose, see one, smell one, feel one. They see in full color, vividly, with the mind's eye. They smell it. They can feel it. These abilities vary widely from person to person, but remember that any perception is filed in the memory and can be recovered.
Do we get to see the file clerk? I love this guy.
And like any computer, has a method of locating data. If you are asked for the last time you saw a movie, your mind will hand out the date, which movie it was, the plot, who you were with, and many other details.
See, that's not true, Joni. You got to pause it, man, because I don't want to talk over this shit. And we're hitting huge points.
Okay,
here.
we're getting to the file clerk.
Please.
Look at him go. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
Sorry.
over this. See what he just said, though? Because I'm glad we're doing this. This is fascinating to actually go back and break and see it in a new unit of time, as they say. But this is what convinced me. He's saying that file clerk that you're talking about, like there's literally a little man inside your brain that when the auditor with enough intention asks you a question, you'll automatically be able to recall the exact date and everything. This is why Hubbard was so obsessed with dates and shit, date locating everything. It's total bullshit that if somebody asked you under hypnosis to go back to a certain incident 20 or 30 years ago, that you're going to hit the right date and everything. That's what I just wanted to say. What the basic assumption that we just heard is not correct. But if you believe that, the first date that your mind spits out, the little file clerk man, you actually accept that. The auditor accepts it. And so you're implanting false memories. It's not true. You can't recall with this kind of detail he's saying the mind works in. But if you believe that, you'll then believe everything else that you quickly come up with in an auditing session. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's fucking fascinating.
I never thought of... Do you find when you have conversations like this and you look at material like this, do you find a different sort of hypnotic effect on your brain? Like how easily we fall back into the language of it? Like it wakes up all of the language and we find ourselves like using it more and more. Like it's sort of like if you're from like the South and then you move to New York City and your accent changes and then you go back to the South and you start immediately talking with the Southern accent. It's not, hypnosis isn't the right word. It's I don't know what I'm saying.
Are you asking? Are you
No,
asking
never-
if I still talk like that?
No,
Never mind.
never mind.
Okay. Back
Here,
to the
let's
file
look at
clerk.
this cute file clerk. He's got a little visor.
If you remember what you're going to say, just
Mind
pause it.
operates as if there were. In ordinary living, your file clerk hands out data at a rapid rate.
Code switching. Thank you, Michelle.
File clerk can
That's what I'm
retrieve
talking
data
about.
from both the analytical mind and the reactive mind.
I can't imagine auditing in a room like this surrounded by
Exactly how
people.
this is done in a Dianetics auditing session.
You're not surrounded by people. You're actually doing
is
it
weird.
one-on-one in a room.
Of asking a person a question which he can understand and
This would just be like a seminar or something. You wouldn't normally do it this way.
getting an answer to that question.
Okay, I'm there.
And
So this is the lady that fell off the ladder.
All right. Go through the incident and say what is happening as you go along.
This is a pre-clear. A pre-clear is someone who is receiving Dianetics auditing and is therefore on the road to becoming clear. A clear is someone who has handled all his engrams and no longer has his own reactive mind.
It's not even true, though.
This is an auditor. Auditor means one who listens. A person trained in applying Dianetics procedures is called an auditor. Dianetics does not use hypnosis, drugs, or trance techniques.
See, that's another lie.
It's important to have the pre-clear, drug-free, and awake. A person should not have any alcohol within 24 hours before the session. If the pre-clear has had aspirin, he needs to wait 7 days before the session.
I never understood that rule.
Drugs interfere with
Just to make it sound scientific when it's
But you
bullshit.
could take
probably.
ibuprofen, which was fine.
Dianetics auditing.
So.
These 10 steps are covered in Book 3, Chapter 5 of the book Dianetics.
Everyone open their hymnals.
First, the auditor has to assure the pre-clear that he will know everything that happens.
We will begin the session now. You will remain aware of everything which goes on. You'll be able to remember everything that happens here. You can pull yourself out of anything which you get into if you don't like it.
The second step is to have the pre-clear close his eyes.
All right. Close your eyes.
The third step is the auditor has to ensure that anything said or done during the session will have no force or control over the pre-clear at a later time after the session. The auditor makes an agreement with the pre-clear to cancel this from occurring. This is called installing the canceller.
In the future, when I utter the word canceled, everything I've said to you while you're in a session will be canceled and will have no force with you. Any suggestions?
Everything about this is literally hypnosis. That's why I think Hubbard just uses hypnosis skills and said, I'm going to fucking use this and turn into this fake thing that he knew was fake called Dianetics.
I've watched this before, but I've never actually paid close attention to it.
Yeah, me neither.
What is installing a canceller?
That's a suggestion to your subcon. Everything that we just watched is exactly how you'd set up a hypnosis session with a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, but then they're like, it's not hypnosis. But that's what?
He lied about that. That's the big secret. That's like the big secret of Scientology.
You could go crazy trying to make sense of nonsense, I guess. Anyway.
Well, not if you understand hypnotism. A trained psychologist would know exactly what he's doing, and you should be able to sue him right off the gate for practicing hypnosis without a license, which is illegal.
And it is something he can comfortably face.
We're going to find an incident in your life of which you have an exact record. Then, by sending you through it at the moment it happens several times, we're going to reduce it. Locate an incident that you feel you can comfortably face.
Notice he's looking right at her too. You have to be trained with your TRs to look right in their eyes, which helps to also create the lulling state. And then also she has her eyes closed, and she's literally just being commanded by the
Returning means that the pre-clear must send a portion of his mind to that past incident so that he can re-experience the incident in the same fashion and with the same sensations as before.
Okay. Go to the beginning of that incident.
Now we come to
somebody rightfully says that boring and desensitization training, even the way that the narrator's talking and the auditor himself, it literally lulls you into a trance just watching this because of how boring and pedantic it is. I don't think that's on accident
Go
either.
through the incident and say what is happening as you go along.
It's like when you're in your school, right, Joni? And you're listening to a really boring lecture or watching one of these videos in school. This is just like in school where half the students fall asleep and shit.
Go to the beginning of the incident.
It is very important that the pre-clear goes through the incident as though it is happening at that moment and not simply as a memory of something that happened in the past.
I tell him I just want to stay home. He gets mad and tells me he told them we'd be there and now I'm not going. I tell him that I just don't feel well. I look terrible. I'm starting to get a headache. I feel like an idiot. He's missing his party and it's all my fault.
Have the pre-clear go back to the beginning of the incident.
Okay, so she's describing. Okay, I get it.
I understand.
Did you ever see that Reckless Ben video, Joni, where he is infiltrating Scientology and they have him go over the incident over and over again, and he captured it on hidden glasses? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What?
Because he came out. We'll have to link this, guys. I'll link this video in the description box. I think my audience will probably know what it is, but Reckless Ben did this amazing series where he went in with spy glasses and he even joined the Sea Org, and he knew it was brainwashing. This is why I tell people to stay the fuck away from it, even if they're going to go down there as a joke. So he went through a session all day and he came out telling his friend, and Reckless Ben is he really is reckless. He's intelligent. He's not someone to be a dumbass. He's got a lot of balls. He was legit concerned in that video, telling him that Scientology reframed the memory of this trauma of him breaking his back or his neck. I think it was his neck. And by the time he came out, he was seriously worried that he couldn't even remember how the accident with his neck actually happened. And he's like, dude, they fucked with my mind. It's an amazing video. And it just shows you how, even if you know it's a hypnosis scam or brainwashing, if you get locked in for 10 hours, having to add more detail to the incident, you too will come out with a skewed view. It really did a number on his ass, man. You got to see it.
Reckless Ben.
Luckily, he recovered. Yeah.
All right. So she hasn't yet figured out that the fight she had with her husband is because she fell off a ladder
He's
before.
trying to get me to go to this party.
She hasn't figured that out yet.
I tell him I just want to stay here.
No, she's repeating it.
Yeah, Kimberly, you're right about Landmark. They do the same techniques, and not least, and they have their own version of like what you could call auditing, by getting people to go in the front of the room and be broken down in front of everybody. And that's because the founder, is Werner Earnhart. He was an ex-Scientologist, and that's what Landmark became. So it's just not even a watered down version of Scientology. It's kind of the same thing, but changed, just like Keith Raniere did with Scientology in the next.
As long as more data is coming out of the incident, the charge is reducing.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
You're not having your charge reduced?
Okay. Like I said, I'm paying closer attention to this than I ever have, even though I've watched it several times.
Me too. It's fucking fascinating, actually.
Okay, so every time you add detail, the charge is... Now, how would you define charge?
That's a
the
great
negative
point. I see where
effects?
you're going with this.
The negative
Yeah, it would
effects
be
of
like-
the trauma?
Yeah, you got it.
So
Hell, that charge, I'll just give you a real quick rundown on that. So these mental image pictures that have moments of pain and trauma, Joni, they're said that they actually have mass and weight, right? So that adds to, he says you can actually gain weight if you have too many trauma pictures, for example. So getting rid of the charge. Think of everything like
fucking dumb.
electronics.
All right.
But it's come out of the 50s, and when electronics and
This
technology
trauma's
were
going
coming in.
straight to
So-
my hips.
But just think of it like an electrical charge. So if a picture has mass and weight, and you get rid of the incident by running through it X amount of times, the charge blows. You might even lose weight, and you get rid of the electricity that's impinging on your mind and therefore your life. Does that make sense?
I certainly don't. I mean, okay. Like, you remember that time he hooked like electrodes up to the tomato and he was like, the cells have, like,
Yeah.
I don't doubt. I'm not totally skeptical on the idea that memories can actually have electrical and or hormonal stuff happening. I don't know. I don't fucking know about brains. I'm not a brain
No, I hear you.
surgeon. But so I'm just trying to wrap my head around the idea that every time, so you're going through this incident, and every time you add new detail, it's reducing the charge.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. now that you
But
point that
what?
out.
What? Like, what is?
By the way,
Wow.
that's only Dianetics. It's not really like that in the other auditing. We have to differentiate. Almost no one does Dianetics. They're just getting auditing at the church, and that doesn't have to do with going over the same incident, adding new details. That's something entirely different. When you do Scientology auditing, which is what most people will know, you are
That's what the
simply
cans.
running the charge. Yeah, you're running the charge on the incident. Yeah, exactly, Joni. You're on the cans. You have a professionally trained auditor, and they're not having you run through the incident over and over just until you get off enough charge, and then they ask you for an earlier similar. It's not just simply adding more detail. It's to blow the charge on that one incident, and then you want to get to the root of the chain, because in other words, it's complex, right? But we're going to get into it with this video where he talks about the locks and the change. But to keep it real simple, you're always trying to get to the basic time that something similar happened to you.
Right.
So let's say you get into a car accident today and you relieve the charge in session by going over it a few times. If the needle then doesn't float on their e-meter, which shows that they say free of the incident, but it actually registers dissociation. So they're looking for that floating needle. And if they don't get it, they say, is there an earlier similar time you were in a car accident? And then you can see how eventually, if that needle doesn't float after you're on incident 4 or 5, he will ask you when you're almost back to birth, is there an earlier similar time? And for me, I said, no, I have only, what do you want me to do? Go past life? And they don't evaluate for you. So they say, is there an earlier similar time you got in a car accident? I already told you, man, that's the earliest incident. Is there an earlier? So finally, you have to answer the question. So as a kid, man, I remember being pushed past track and going, well, the needle's not floating. I believe in the needle now. So I'm getting a picture of, now I don't know if this is true or not. Well, just tell me what you see. Okay, well, I see that I'm somewhere like in North Hollywood, but I was never in North Hollywood this lifetime. Well, tell me more. And then I remember, Joni, when they first pushed this onto me, I was like, I'm just making this up, blah, blah, blah. But they handle your resistance. So I keep adding more detail to, well, I'm in North Hollywood, and I don't know if I'm making this up or not, but I see a car hitting me. And then they have you go over it. So they're implanting false memories into your mind by the adding of the other detail. That's what's really happening. But logically, like you said, you're saying, how would that relieve charge? Well, it doesn't. It's bullshit. It's a hypnosis trick. It's designed to implant false memories. So that's why it doesn't make sense. And not only that way, but I didn't realize that too until you pointed it out. Going over an incident and adding more details, how on earth would that relieve the charge, right?
That's questionable science, is all I'm saying.
It's
Well, let me
fucking
ask you a
interesting,
question,
though,
Doug.
man. I'm glad we did this stream because I never even thought about this shit before. But you bring up some good, questions.
When you were
Doubts.
when you were a kid, and your first memories of actually coming up with past life engram trauma stuff, were you aware at the time that you were making it up, or did you actually were you so entranced that you were seeing pictures and just imagined?
Well,
and you believed it?
I have a good imagination anyways. That's why I fell head over heels much faster than somebody, because once I took to it, I let my imagination go wild. Yes, I could make up pictures. I was already in that headspace anyways as a kid. So I think the more imagination you have, the more effective this hypnosis and implanting of false memories is, because you make it real. But yes, Joni, I believed it. One, because this is the only psychology and metaphysics I grew up with since I was a kid. I'm not studying psychology books at 9 when my parents are pushing me on to this. I look up to my parents, of course. So when I'm told at Scientology that my dad's on the operating Thetan levels and he can read minds, that would explain why I feel like I couldn't hide anything from my family. They terrified me. My dad never laid a hand on me, but he would just look at me a certain way, and I would know he read my mind. If you grew up in a fanatical Christian household and your mom's constantly beating the Bible over your head, until you get another frame of reference and get older, you're probably going to believe that no matter how ludicrous it is, because you look up to your parents. And if they say it's right, even if you don't understand it, who am I to argue with these heady experiences I'm having in auditing? How am I supposed to know it's hypnosis? I mean, things happen when you do this and it feels amazing, but it's just dissociating you, reframed as spirituality. So my parents didn't know how badly they were fucking me up and fucking themselves up in these auditing sessions, but we are fucking ourselves up badly, as we're learning today. by how this shit works, you know? We weren't relieving any fucking
Well,
charge.
Look, I think this lady is really getting something out of it, though. And look at her.
The kids
Okay. She looks like she's orgasmically, like, going through the incident, right? Maybe she's got a thing for her auditor.
Floating.
Not yet, but she's getting there. She literally looks like she's having an orgasm.
The auditor must ask additional questions as needed to help the pre-clear recover more of the incident. Questions such as, what do you see, or what do you hear can be asked to help the pre-clear.
I just don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here.
All right. What do you hear?
I hear the water running in the sink.
Oh, Michelle,
And I hear
he can't, but I can. I see you.
my husband asked me why I can't go. He says he told them we would be there.
All right. What do you see?
I see the dishes.
Michelle beat you to the climax joke.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is it just me, or is everything in Scientology, even in the promo videos, have a sexual undertone to it?
I look bad. I'm getting this headache.
Like, they look like, is she recalling a car accident, or is she 2 seconds away from jumping her hypnotized auditor?
Good.
It's hard to tell.
Go back to the beginning.
Look at him, and he's just like
Pick up whatever additional data.
undressing her with his eyes.
He's like, if I can just fucking get her to go out
again and
or
again,
under enough, I'm
each time
fucking going to
telling the
snag that.
pre-clear to go back to the
He looks like a predator, does he not?
go through it.
He really does. I don't want to judge.
Look at the stare.
This nice man, but
cheerful about it.
I know.
When the pre-clear
They made him into it. It's not his fault.
incident, go on to step 6B. Choose another
okay,
By the
so
way,
now we're gonna
Joni,
find an
since he's-
earlier similar.
Okay.
comfortably face.
My bad.
Let's find
Since
another
what?
incident that you feel you can comfortably face.
I'll pause.
Okay.
You were saying.
What the fuck were we saying? I completely forgot. I don't know. If we don't have that pause function, I feel bad asking
I
you 'cause it's your
paused.
show, but I know,
have
but
a
you
remote.
didn't.
I have a remote.
I forgot.
So it's not.
Can you remind me what we were talking about, and I'll tell you what I was going to say.
I don't know. You were just like.
So
Gonna
you
say
weren't
something.
paying attention either. You give
No,
me shit
we-
earlier for watching comments and not listening to you, and then you.
We weren't. Nothing was being discussed. You were just like, "Oh, hey, I have a thought," and I was like, "Okay, let's pause and address it." And then you're like, "I don't remember what it was."
I don't.
And now you're trying to
Please carry on.
gaslight me, like I wasn't listening.
Can't get anything past you. Fucking good.
So my
I'm just
understanding,
gonna shut up now.
I think I remember hearing somebody, Mitch or Mark Headley or somebody talking about these movies where they would cast actors, like not Scientology actors, just
that's what I was gonna say.
actors.
Yeah.
So these people, presumably, they show up on set and she, and she gets her script and she's like, "I'm doing what? Okay." Like how? I wish we could track them down and ask them.
By the way, we have some horny little devils in the comment section. You were saying about the sexual undertones. We'll get to that later. Philosophy. Keep your head out of the gutter.
No,
this
I
is important stuff here, man. No,
I
Joni,
suspect.
before I forget, because you said, that's why you paused it. Just real quick, those are actors most likely, right? And
Yeah.
they have to do like 100 takes to get that stare. So that's an actor, and you can see he has the Scientology beingness with the stare. But I promise you, man, they made him do that 100 times because they hire actors that don't know anything about the tech, and they have to say certain words and look a certain way, have a certain beingness. They're trained they have to shoot all day and all night within an inch of their life. And me being a Scientologist, I did a ton of these videos, so I'm speaking from experience, even knowing what I'm talking about. And I work with non-Scientology actors. We have to do 100 times more takes than they would ever do in the most, expensive movie production, because they have to get the beingness. So you can see that guy's an actor, but he's got the fucking stare. And I bet you that took 100 takes.
I would give anything.
Just letting you know, man. You don't want to ever they don't get anything done.
find
That's another
movie-
great question.
I want to find movies that you were in, like training films that you
They're
were
not.
in.
I looked for them because I wanted to use them, but they were taken down maybe 2016, 2017. I couldn't find them anymore.
I'm
They're
going to
just
do
me
everything I can
staring
to
off
find
into the
some.
sunset. Oh, please do. That would be awesome. Tony Ortega used to have them embedded on his Substack, or his underground bunker, but they're removed. But if you can find any, I'd love to watch those. We'll do a chat with the stupid tech films and stuff.
But so this woman is about to just like really chew up the scenery,
and it's just funny to me that I
think they're about to have sex, Joni. Not
I
chew up
so
the
much
scenery.
want to be a fly on the wall, and like, what kind of direction did this? Let's look at it from this perspective. What kind of direction was this woman getting from?
Mitch Brisker would be able to answer that question for you. Do you know who he is?
I gotta meet
He's been
him. I
speaking
gotta
out
meet that
recently.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll be able to answer all your
I was in the
questions.
kitchen with my daughter.
Return the pre-clear to this new incident and audit it by continuing the procedure. with-
Philosophy, some of them are Scientologists, but most of them, believe it or not, they use non-Scientologists. Like, I doubt these two people right here are Scientologists. It's possible that he
Here's
is.
another incident to audit using the
It's just a total
procedure as
guess.
described earlier. Keep
When,
finding and auditing.
when she gets to that latter incident, she's absolutely going to climax.
Pre-clear does not seem to be able to uncover any more about an incident.
You can tell he's getting off on it, but he's trying to keep his TRs in.
Is not becoming more
doing
about it. Then find out from the pre-clear.
I don't even think we're reading into this, Joni.
Similar to the
We're
one
watching
you
it in
are
a new unit of time, and I think the sexual undertones are there.
Look, it makes it way more entertaining, at least.
Hospital and
Exactly. What do you guys think? Do we have our heads in the gutter, or are we hallucinating, or are we seeing real shit here?
I don't know. I'm not seeing anything new.
Okay. Is there an earlier incident similar to the one we're auditing?
Yeah, there is.
Amy is just joining us. She's so confused by the chat. We're just going over a Dianetics video from the beginning to the end, showing what it is, and without even knowing it, I guess we're kind of taking it apart.
And say what is happening as you go along.
Okay, she's about to have her big cognition.
This is a long time ago. We're cleaning up after dinner. The kids are teasing each other. I'm trying to put some plates away up in this high shelf where we keep them. I'm standing on a step stool.
All right, continue.
The
So
kids
creepy.
Are fighting.
That's supposed to be her husband, I think, that's
I
auditing.
hit the step stool.
Unless she's cheating on
and
him.
I fall off. I hit my head on the floor, and I black out. When I come to, there's an ambulance there. I feel like such an idiot. My head hurts. Oh. I'm getting a headache now. That's all.
All right. Go back to the beginning.
So bizarre. Maybe she's just a really bad actor.
Additional data you can contact.
As long as new data is still coming out of the incident, the auditor needs to continue to run the incident using
New data.
steps 5 and 6A.
Again, to understand this gibberish, Joni, just think of in terms of a computer program. The mind's a computer. It's got data. It's got
I saw
circuits
that bit
in it and
earlier.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like a stupid.
By the way, Roar asks a very funny question. Do family members order each other when they're bored? Like, let's just find some past engrams. There are some families that do sit down when they're bored just to run stuff or whatever, but thank God that wasn't prevalent in my family.
Idiot. It was your fault.
Shut up, both of you.
See, here we go, Joni. She's unconscious, and this content of her being a stupid idiot is going to fuck her life up and make her feel like an idiot until she gets Scientology processing down the road.
No, don't try to move her. She's got to stay right here.
She's got to stay right here.
She's got to stay
See, and the fact that she can pick up those phrases that were said while she's
gotta
unconscious,
stay
while under
right
hypnosis, is total
This is a
bullshit.
good time
This
to
is where
end
the,
off for today.
false memory
To end the
implants
session,
really get
You
going
go
here.
on to step 7.
Look at them. They
The auditor now has to bring the pre-clear back
Just need to find a
present
room.
time.
He also played James Vander Geek in an episode
Wait, here we
of
go.
Mad
Here's
TV.
another.
Wait, what?
Come to present
There's
time.
another proof of the hypnosis, how they bring him out of it.
Good.
Step 8
gonna
is
bring her out of
making
the
sure
trance.
pre-clear is in present time.
Are you in present
I.e.
time?
comes out of the trance.
Fine.
The auditor now has to give the pre-clear the word
Your safe word.
so that nothing in the session will act as a command or suggestion to the
Cancel.
pre-clear at a later time. This
Did you hear that?
Canceled.
So it won't act as a suggestion to the pre-clear. Again, it really is just a
pre-clear
repackaging of
present time
hypnotism.
environment. This is step 10 and is the final step of Dianetics procedure.
When I count from 5 to 1 and snap my fingers, you'll feel alert. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, what a great feeling.
Now let's go fuck.
Never known. And my headache's gone. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
There you
Can we
have
go
it.
have sex?
That was a Dianetics.
There you have it.
Shown
I wonder how many auditors have taken advantage of their pre-clears. I interviewed a guy from.
incidents are
Well,
taken.
let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if certain pre-clears were taken advantage of by looking up to their older auditor man, so to speak.
It takes study.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna.
If you haven't read the book Dianetics,
gotta be ready.
you should do so. You can refer to the auditing procedure
That's you,
on the
Joni.
card that you received with this video. And you can watch this program over and over as many times as you want.
Where the hell did you find this video, man? I've never seen this in all of my Scientology career. I've seen cheesier versions of this, but this is a pretty.
I may have gotten it from
quote-unquote
my other
high-quality
friend collector.
On the most exciting
It's a
adventure
great
of your
video.
life. The adventure of you.
Okay.
The goal of Dianetics is a finite state called clear.
Which doesn't
The clear
exist.
operates using the full potential of his analytical mind. He has gotten rid of the barrier that held him back in life, his reactive mind. The clear is not a buried unknown or a different person, but an intensity of all that is best and most able in a person.
The fuck?
Creative ability and
know.
drive do not come from your aberrations. Man is basically good,
Okay.
creative, and constructive.
Top left. Top left. Everybody see the square top left? That's little baby Claire Headley.
Really?
See
Wait,
how
keep it on
sad-
pause real quick. Keep it on pause real quick, Joni, before we discuss. I just wanted to cover one quick comment, if you
I'm
don't
sorry,
mind.
it's
where-
so jumpy.
It's okay. Glenda Stevenson says, I really wish I smoked pot. Fear not, Glenda. I'll be filling in for you. This is a stoner's dream come true. I just wanted to say, Joni, there's nothing better than getting high and watching these kind of videos. So not only are they not restimulative, they achieve the cheesiness that they really are in such a state of mind. So if you have it,
Listen.
guys, join us. If not, suffer, because there's no way to get through this without being on something.
And if you enjoy not specifically Scientology, but any sort of weird religious propaganda tapes, I have been now for several weeks. Every Sunday I watch a different one. So last week we watched a tape about, called Pagan Invasion, Halloween, Trick or Treat. And it was all about like the evil pagan Halloween stuff. And then we watched a couple of Jehovah's Witness, anti-Jehovah's Witness, where like one church will make a documentary about how the other church is bad. So it's like cult on cult crime. Yeah.
We got to watch some of those together, man. I would love
Next
to
week is
actually-
going to be Mormons. Cool. We're going to talk about how the Mormons are not the real. Anyway, I don't want to give anybody a seizure from this paused frame. I just wanted to point out Claire Headley. And now you see how sad
How do you know that's
she
Claire,
is?
by the way? I mean, it definitely
Because
looks
she
like it, but how do you
confirmed it.
know?
She confirmed it. Yeah. Because I posted, it's a long story, but yeah, she personally said, yep, that's me. So look,
Fucking A.
watch what happens though after she gets auditing. Look what Scientology does for her.
Aberrations, and with them go the evil, pain, and
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
She's all
That was
better.
in just 5 hours of auditing.
the first study of the mind, which is easily understood.
Don't knock
So
it till
far,
you tried
that's
it,
the
Johnny.
only person that
by anyone.
I've been able to identify.
That goal has
I
never
haven't recognized anybody in this.
man's history. People all over the world are winning with Dianetics.
And after going clear, I realized that I could do anything I wanted.
I turned that into a gift too.
Who I was.
Claire going,
It wasn't who my parents told me it was. And
Nice.
it wasn't what I was expected to be. But I figured out who I was. And I saw that I had so much more potential than I ever thought I had.
I had allergies and aches and pains and problems with my family that I figured I'd have the rest of my life. Well, very simply,
allergies and problems with his family.
my allergies are gone, I'm getting along great with my family, and I'm finally doing the things in life I've always wanted to do.
So what I tell everybody is that no matter how much you have in life, you really don't
It's the
have
owner,
until you have
business
yourself.
owner.
That's what Dianetics gives you, is yourself. So you gotta do it.
Dianetics is very fast, very powerful. And if you haven't tried it, then what you're missing out on is your own happiness.
You can't even put a price on what Dianetics can do. It gave me back myself. And that's worth everything. Dianetics
They
is
certainly do
absolutely
try to put a price on it,
I've
a
ever
very
done in my
hefty
life.
price.
Everyone should do it.
Dianetics has broad use. Education, medicine, politics, art, all branches of human thought are clarified.
That last one is the most offensive to me.
One key branch of Dianetics is preventive Dianetics, the technology of preventing engrams and other reactive incidents from occurring in the first place.
The technology of preventing engrams.
Professionals now insist on complete silence
Hi,
and
hugging man.
to safeguard the sanity of the individual.
This is why you have to be silent around birth and why.
Social Dianetics.
Which
if
I
Suri
did.
is in fact their child, they gave her a silent birth.
And its reactive
I endeavored to do that,
as we have seen with an individual,
but it didn't last very long.
can be re-stimulated.
Did you kind of, was that a carryover from
behavior.
your Scientology years?
Yeah, I thought,
Even-
you know, I thought,
Why
well,
not,
it
right?
doesn't do any harm.
or conflict, which cannot be.
But no, I was screaming and cursing the whole time.
An ideal society would be a society of unaberrated persons, clears, conducting their lives with mutual respect and trust.
That's why, if that was true, Scientologists wouldn't be like the most,
with Dianetics,
kind of the hated people and hard to deal with people by those in the real world.
Happier and saner world. At the end of the book Dianetics, L. Ron Hubbard urged the reader to get busy and build a better bridge. In over 4 decades since the publication of Dianetics, that bridge has been strengthened and widened. What began as a book has become a worldwide movement. Today there are
Look at all these people running in and out.
centers and organizations throughout the world.
All these white
John
people.
Travolta.
Tens of thousands of people
Yeah, I
have
know.
gone clear.
Good observation.
You can be clear too. In fact, by watching this program, you have already started on the road to clear. You now need to apply what you've just learned. With study, patience, and work, you'll make it. Dianetics is for you. Learn it. Audit with your friends and family, and have them audit you. Start a group. For any assistance or to answer your questions,
Does this number still work?
Dianetics information line 1-800-3.
I do have a tradition. When we watch a tape
Let's
and there's
give it
an
a call.
800 number, we call it. Yep.
Are you really gonna call it? Because if you're not, I am.
No, I am. It's a tradition. Look, every single time it's a sex talk line. Like whatever the number is, it's been turned into
There's
a sex.
no way it's gonna be Dianetics. There's no way. You might. Can you throw it on speaker maybe? Hell yeah. This is exciting. I hope someone
Dianetics,
answers.
how can I help you?
No shit. Are you? You need. Why didn't you talk to him?
I was not expecting an answer.
Are you kidding me?
I
I'm
was
gonna
very
call him.
taken aback by that.
I know. I did not. What fucking year? This is 1992, Joni, and they're still fucking here. We're totally calling
Dianetics,
him right
how
now.
can I help you?
What should we ask him now, man? I can't believe we got.
I'm not calling that number again. That terrified me. I am terrified.
I'm gonna *67 it so they can't track my number.
Are you gonna
Thank
call
for
them?
reminding me. Fuck yeah, I am.
Okay.
Guys, let's get a survey here. What should we ask them here?
Tell
Do I
them
tell
that you
I'm a
just
former
saw- tell them that
Scientologist?
you
Do I
just
ask them if
saw-
they've seen their family? How do we make an impact?
Tell
here
them
without
that
being
you just
jackass?
saw a How to Use Dianetics VHS tape.
How do I get started? That's perfect. That's enough to go on. I got this. Stand by.
Oh, good.
Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Can you hear that, Jonie? Yeah, hi. I was just watching a How to Use Dianetics from 1992. I just actually watched it like 3 or 4 times because I just found it really intriguing about what is it called? The reach mind, the reactive mind, and the engrams, the engrams. Whatever. I'm just rambling. I just really found the video fascinating. I didn't actually expect this 800 number to be valid because this is a video from 1992. But if I wanted to get involved or learn more about this, how do I go about it?
Okay, well, let me get someone who can help answer that.
Okay.
What's your name, please?
Ryan Sanders, Sanders.
Okay, hold on just a moment.
Okay. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear that?
What's the hold music?
There really isn't any. I feel like they're listening, so don't say too much.
Chick Corea. Edgar Winter. It's 6 o'clock on a Sunday. Who are they? What are we doing?
Okay, here's someone who can help.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hello, this is Mary. How can I help you?
Hey, Mary. Sorry to bother you on a Sunday evening. I'm watching a video called How to Use Dianetics, which just happened to be a hand-me-down from a friend, so I just threw it on. And it's from 1992, so I just called the 800 number because I wanted to find out more about it or how to get involved. So I didn't actually expect you guys to answer. So you've been there for, what, 20 years?
I mean, it's been more than that. Probably, I'm not sure how long the 1-800 number has been there. It's been longer than I've been working here. I've been working with Dianetics for 20 years, so
Wow.
there you go.
Do you mind if I ask where
Dianetics
you're located?
Los Angeles, California?
Oh, no shit. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Where are you?
Los Angeles. And because I know about Scientology and Dianetics because I live here. So I just flipped on the Dianetics video I honestly thought it would be a joke, but just because of what I've heard. But I really like the video that I watched. So I just figured, what the hell? I'll call the number and see if I can. What do you do? Pick up a Dianetics book, or are Dianetics and Scientology related? Like, I'm confused how it all works.
Yeah, no problem. So, Dianetics came first. It's a science of the mind, obviously written by L. Ron Hubbard. Excuse me. The word Dianetics means through the mind or through the soul. So it's about how the mind impacts the person and their body. It's specifically about getting rid of the impacts
Egrams,
of
right?
pain and trauma on the person.
Are those the egrams? The engrams that I just watched? Okay. I just saw the video. Okay.
Awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, I love that video.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I didn't know about the 1992 version, but the current version we have is pretty awesome.
No, I have a friend of mine. I collect VHS tapes, and a friend of mine just happened to give me this tape just as a hand-me-down. Like I said, I didn't know much about it, but I just watched it on my VCR, and it's from 1992, and it's really well done, by the way.
I'm surprised you still have the VCR. It's pretty good.
I know. Like I said, I collect them, or collect VHS tapes.
That's awesome. So later, when L. Ron Hubbard discovered the human spirit, he created the Scientology applied religious philosophy, which has to do with spirituality, helping a person understand and reach their full potential. And there's a lot of life improvement type knowledge and courses, right? And spiritual counseling and stuff like that. The first way that, the first thing we have anybody do usually is read a book and, do a course, which can be even a home study course you can do, at your own pace, where you can kind of get a feel for what is this about? Does it help you? Do you like it? Are you interested? You don't have to join. It's not required. We don't convert people or try to change their beliefs or anything like that. And yeah.
Very
interesting. It sounds like you've heard of Dianetics and Scientology previously. Do you have any questions about either one besides on your desk or anything?
I mean, I don't want to. Of course, I've heard the rumors and stuff about this character named Xanu or something, where you're into aliens or whatever. I don't know if it's true. Like I said, that's all I've heard the rumors, and I also. I didn't know if Dianetics was connected to Scientology or not, but I thought that it was just because, it's popular here in LA. So I thought it was a joke, but I liked the kind of the psychoanalytic approach to getting rid of moments of pain and unconsciousness and stuff. Like, it makes sense. It wasn't this loony shit that I had heard in Los Angeles. But is there any alien or Xanu stuff that you get into later on or whatever?
I don't know, but I think you're referring to Xenu. I've heard of that.
Oh, Xenu.
And lot of the books, and I've talked to people at the highest levels, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what that is.
Okay.
I think somebody put it out there as kind of a prank and said this is what Scientologists really believe.
Right. Because I think I saw it on South Park or some shit, and they're like, "This is what Scientologists believe." It's total. That cannot be true, right? Yeah.
I used to watch South Park when I was a kid, so
Really?
something I feel like this. I mean, yeah.
So you would know if that shit's true or not. You would, if you saw the South Park episode or whatever, because they rag on every religion or whatever, then you would know if that's true or not. It's total bullshit.
I mean, you could take any subject and they would annihilate it. Like they even,
Yeah.
Take women as a subject and they just, there's different whole comments that just attack anything because they think it's funny and they make jokes about everything. So it's
Yeah.
they think women are aliens because,
Women are aliens? I've never heard that one. Who the hell thinks women are aliens? I haven't heard that one. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
He gets killed all the time. Very similar to South Park. I don't personally believe anything they say. That's just a cartoon. But so if you're actually interested in this, it's not a joke. It's real. I mean, a lot of people have actually used this to benefit from. I know I've worked with a lot of people who had like panic attacks, anxiety, depression, claustrophobia, and they were actually able to get rid of that with Dianetics. People that had different like fears or phobias, people that had lack of confidence or self-sabotage, and they're able to handle that. And then, even Scientology is pretty awesome because it covers a lot of different aspects of life, anything from communication, relationships, raising children. It's not as scary and weird as people say. It's kind of funny. But if you're actually interested in it, then great.
How do you start?
If you're interested in you could read a book and get a course. Like, I can help you get the book and the course.
I'm thinking about going out and just buying Dianetics. Is that like a legitimate place to start to find out what the hell I just watched and how this all works?
Yeah, exactly. So Dianetics isn't going to cover any of the Scientology aspect of it, but I can also concurrently send you videos that you can watch about Scientology, and all of our quote-unquote advanced books, we're talking about the highest levels, are on our website, so there's nothing like secret.
There are secret levels, though, are there not? There is confidential levels in Scientology, I heard, right? You have to work yourself up the bridge, right?
Yeah. So it's done on a gradient approach, because if you remember in Dianetics, like when a person addresses an engram, they might actually feel that physical pain again while it's coming back out, right? It kind of like, it can come back out again, and then it gets released. So you don't want to like jump ahead too far when you're addressing like major things that might have happened in a person's past too quickly, because it could be overwhelming for them. So it's more for their like benefit. The bridge to total freedom is not a confidential thing. Anybody can even read all the
The bridge to total freedom? Is that what you just said? Is that what it is?
bridge, and I said that's what it's called. Yeah.
Really? I thought Dianetics, I'd never heard that. I'm sorry. I don't know. I know that Dianetics was started by L. Ron Hubbard, who created Scientology, but are they totally different or what? I don't remember seeing the bridge to total freedom in the Dianetics video. It's just getting rid of your subconscious blind spots, right? Basically.
Right, because Dianetics is a sub-study of Scientology, and it came before
I see.
Scientology.
Okay.
So that bridge you're talking about is step-by-step, like levels of courses that one can take to learn how to be an auditor, and as well as the auditing levels that you receive, like the steps to get to clear, like getting rid of your reactive mind, and then beyond that is like Scientology auditing that addresses a spiritual being, like you as a person, not your body or your
I see.
reactive mind, right?
I see.
So then honestly, the best way to start, you could get the Dianetics book. Your
I
number
am.
comes through. I was going to text you some more information or something, but your number is coming through as blocked.
Yeah, because I don't know. I was scared to contact you, to be honest with you. Like I said, because I wanted to feel you out and know what the hell I'm getting into. Because, like I told you, the contradiction I'm having is the rumors that I heard in LA, living around here, versus the video that I just saw, which I really liked, and I was kind of taken aback from it, and I don't know what the hell that has to do with Xanu and all this other crap that I heard.
Yeah, I understand. Well, here's what we should do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to get a book, we can start with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can even send you free information. Like for me to you personally, I don't have to put you don't automatically get put on like a mailing list or something if you request.
I'm a little terrified of that because I heard that once you get on a Scientology mailing list, you can never get off. Maybe I can hold off on that. And well, I don't know. I know that's probably not true, but I still want to be cautious.
Any mailing list. We're not here to like stalk people or something like that. We're here to help them.
Mm-hmm.
The word Scientology is the study of knowledge or knowing how to know, right? Like we're here to help people improve their lives. That's what a Scientologist is somebody that uses the knowledge to help themselves and help other people, right?
Right.
So, how I can help you, I can send you information from me to you. I can email it, text you. I can send you something in the mail if you want to check it out. I feel like you might.
I can give you an email address. I'd feel more comfortable about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what I'm going to do, and tell me if this is the correct path. I want to know more about Dianetics because that's what I just watched, and I don't know anything about the spiritual aspects of Scientology. I don't know how I feel about that, but I really like the psychotherapy that I just saw in the video. So why don't I get the book? I'll give you my email address so we can keep in touch. And then can I contact you again or vice versa after I actually read the book? Like, am I going to understand how to do that auditing that I just saw in the video?
Yeah, I can send you a link where you can order the book. You can even like
Awesome.
I've had some like if you want to, you can even ship the book to a PO box. You can tell me once you process the order. In fact,
I know where to get the book. That's easy. I'm probably going to get the Audible tonight so I can fucking listen to it. I'm so excited to check this out. But how about I give you?
You can do that. Let me just tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a little bit scientific and technical. Okay.
Okay.
If you try to listen to it, it's like listening to like a science book or like a chemistry book.
That's my forte, though. I like that stuff.
But you might not understand everything if you only listen to it. I would suggest getting a physical book. You're calling the public.
Oh, I am going to get a physical. I am going to. Oh, you're saying get the physical book as opposed to the Audible version.
Yeah, you should get it. I can help you get the right. Well, you can listen to it. I'm not going to say you can't. Absolutely, but I'm going to send you a link so you can order that. I don't know if even Ryan Sanders is your real name, to be totally honest.
Why would you say that?
Well, because you said you were scared to give your phone number, so I was going to say that I'm just trying to give you the answers and the knowledge. You can use whatever address you want. It doesn't matter. We're not here to like do anything else other than give you that knowledge. And you can tell me, because I'll have your email address. If you use that same email address when you order the book, I can even put it down that you don't want to receive any physical mail at all, like not even like a receipt.
Okay. How about I give you my legitimate email address? That's all I feel comfortable giving out right now without knowing more about the organization. I know where to.
Send you a sample of the beginning of the book. How about that?
Sure. Oh, fucking A. Yeah. That's a perfect place to start.
And then is your name actually Ryan? At least your first name? Or just use Ryan? Will you like respond to that?
Yeah. Yes, I will. That's all I'm going to say.
You're funny.
I'll give you my real email address though. You'll see this is going to go through. And you'll get my real name too. So it's it's dbncdoug DOUG @gmail.com. dbncdoug@gmail.com. Yeah.
So Delta Bravo Nancy Charlie Delta October Umbrella George @gmail.com.
Holy shit! You just confused me even more than I thought that was going to be. I'm sorry. I could do the first four in Delta.
David, B as in ready? D like David.
Mm-hmm.
B as in boy.
Yep.
N as in Nancy.
Yep.
C as in Charlie, and then Doug DOUG @gmail.com.
Exactly.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be.
Just to repeat that back to you, that's D as in Doug, my real name, B as in butt, N as in Nancy, and C as in confused. But not to be confused if I can get on this Dianetics shit. So please send me that. I'll take a look at it, and then you can contact me or vice versa.
My name is like Spick and Span.
Okay, how do I know that's your real name? Mary. See, it's a two-way flow, as they say in Scientology, right? I just learned that term today. Okay, okay. I'm all ears. What?
Named after my grandmother. She was born in about 100 years ago. It's
Wow.
a Catholic name like Mary Sue, Mary Beth, Mary Ann. My name is actually Mary Jane. Sometimes we go by Mary.
You cannot be named Mary Jane and be a Scientologist. Aren't you guys against drugs? Mary Jane? Is that your name is really Mary Jane? Okay, and you're accusing me of giving a false name.
My husband's from Canada.
Wow.
It's originally English name, and there's you, so you're gonna see it coming from me.
From literally Mary Jane.
Emails these days. What?
I'm gonna see it coming from Mary Jane.
Yep, that's it.
Fucking A, man. This call was meant to be on more levels than you know. But Scientology is gonna get me off smoking weed. I know it. Okay.
How do you smoke every day?
No, just once in a while. But I know that Scientology is anti-drugs, but I can confront that, as you say. I can overcome that. It's not that big of a deal if there's a reason to.
Yeah, there's a way. I mean, if you're on medical marijuana, that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, I am. But I'm not on it. I just smoke once in a while. Yeah, it's not even a big deal. It's something I could give up, but I know that I can't do Dianetics while smoking weed. Believe me, I caught that in the video. Is there any way to? Do you have a stoner version of Dianetics? Wouldn't the weed allow you to get more into the subconscious and access the engrams, though? I guess it's a no-no, though, in Dianetics, right?
Here's the thing: is that like a drug I can send you even as a short free online video in a home study course. Like it's a short free online course called Answers to Drugs. It explains the effects of drugs.
Answers to Drugs.
They can like scramble your memories a little bit
Mhm.
and the time and confuse the present with the past and have like illusions. So if you're trying to do Dianetics and you're high, you're not really going to be able to erase the engram. Is the basic data. Like you don't want to do that because it could screw it up a little bit. So,
Does being high install the engrams?
it can.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it like if a person is under anesthetics or something like that in a surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
The drugs, the pain, the unconsciousness is all part of the engram. Like
That makes sense.
drugs are part of it. To whatever degree it makes you less conscious.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's part of an engram is the state of consciousness.
Yeah, unconsciousness, which I just saw in the video.
Send you some more videos.
Okay, send me whatever you got, please.
I feel like your name is right.
Huh?
Funny.
I feel like I'm being a what?
No. I said I guess I'm gonna call you Doug now. I thought
Yeah, that's my real name.
I got used to be calling you Ren. I know. So give me a few minutes.
Awesome.
Maybe about 30 seconds, and I'll get this to you. If you don't see it in your inbox, you can check junk mail or promotion folders.
Okay.
They subject Dianetics info.
Okay.
I'm tapping it up right now, and yeah, I can include my there's the number in there for you for publications is in my email.
Okay, bridge.
Email, you can always ask for me, Mary Jane, and everything like that. Otherwise, it was nice to meet you. I'm glad you're looking into this for yourself. And if,
You too.
you know, you like what you see there, again, I'll just send you a link to order the book if you feel comfortable with that. It's not going to be scary, I promise. I'll help you.
Thank you. You will earn my trust, Mary Jane, just like the herb itself named Mary Jane had to earn my trust. I'm just kidding. I'll give it up for Scientology. Just let me see what you guys got. Okay.
It's okay. Well, thanks for the call, Doug. It was
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you.
You as well, Mary. Okay. Take care. Bye. I feel so evil, wrong, dirty, and bad. So many levels. Please tell me that wasn't inappropriate because she was so nice, man. And her name's fucking Mary Jane.
Wow. We had a raid in the middle of that, and I was trying to explain. Wow. Thank you, 7-Eleven, for the raid. We were on a phone call with the 1-800 number for Dianetics that we found on a VHS tape.
Scientologist for the first time in God knows how many years. That was such a trip.
Yeah, do you need a moment
I want to rescue her.
Do you need a moment to process what just happened?
Joni, that came from randomly calling an 800 number that we knew damn well was not going to be active and was going to be a porn operator on the other line because it was from 1992, and the sweetest girl named
She
Mary
sounded
fucking
so
Jane
young.
just tried to sell me. No, man, I need to save her.
And so that number went to
Oh my
Bridge.
God.
That's fascinating.
I know.
That it
I know.
went, and
That's
that
amazing.
they dug somebody up. Are they staffed by Sea Org? They must be. Nobody else is going to be there at
Bridge,
6
I
o'clock on a
believe
Sunday.
Bridge is, yeah, she would probably most definitely be a Sea Org member. That's so
Yeah,
sad.
she
'cause
sounded so
sounds
young.
so sweet, so young, man. Her parents are probably in it. Damn it, I feel bad now because I gave her my real email. She's all excited because she thought she
Well,
got a contact.
Chow
she
was
just sounded
screaming at you in your chat that you gave that email address you gave was wrong. So I don't know if that's true.
No, it's right. That's definitely one of my email addresses. I want to see what she has
Oh,
to
okay,
send
you
me.
have
We
more
can
than
riff
one?
on it on the channel.
All right.
Yeah, I have 3 of them. But damn, she caught me on the fake name, and she
Wow.
saw that my number was blocked, and she still had a good comm cycle with me, if you will.
No, I called that number first, and I didn't block it, so they got
Yeah,
they got
you hung
mine.
up.
Because I panicked because they answered.
I understand. Hey, I would have done the same thing. You just confirmed that was a real number, so I could take the rifle from you and go in there. That was a good team effort, Joni. Remind me never to put you behind me or have my back because we see how you're going to operate in battle. Damn.
Look, like I said, every time we watch a VHS tape and there's an 800 number, we call it, and 100% of the time, it's like you can talk to hot ladies now, because it's some company that went out of business 20 years ago. So yeah, somebody answered, Dianetics, can I help you? And I freaked out and I hung up.
Hey, I totally understand. Let me see if she sent me this email. God damn it, I feel bad. I need to marry Jane.
What just happened? Also, you are
don't
an
know.
excellent actor. We all got to see it right before our eyes.
Oh, thank you. That felt so evil, though, man.
That was a lot. Whew.
Wasn't expecting
The
that.
phone
Did
number
we
for Jeremiah Films is still active. Did we call that one and it was still active?
I don't want to call anybody ever again. Don't you make me call another 800 number.
I didn't do it. You.
How do I know you're not working for Scientology and that wasn't a setup? Joni, I'm suspecting that you're OSA now.
You did that 100% on your own.
I'm just kidding.
We
Damn,
gotta
I don't
watch
even-
the rest of this video. It's
I was
gonna
going to
be,
say, let's finish this fucking thing. That
it's
was a
gonna be all
perfect,
downhill
weird
from
break.
here.
I know. But we
But
still
we
got
s-
the rest of like
We
Dianetics.
need a
I'm
minute
actually
to
more
like.
destimulate, Jane.
There's
Jane.
so please don't anyone call this number right now.
Wow. Yeah, leave Mary Jane alone, please, man. That was a one-time
She's
thing.
trying to have a nice Sunday night.
And what
Damn it, I feel
You'll
so
get
bad.
practical experience in auditing under professional
No,
supervision.
look, you know what? You just gave her a stat.
Yes, Star. I made her night, but she thinks she got a product out of me. She's all excited. And I just lied to her. I totally bullshitted her.
You just gave her two stats. You can feel
That's
good about
true.
that.
Maybe she can eat tonight, but still, I just feel bad about letting her down by she's gonna find out it's phony. Osa's probably watching this video right now and probably gonna haul her ass into some ethics conditions for getting on the phone with me. God damn it.
Well, that was it. We were at the end anyway.
L. Ron
Are we?
Hubbard envisioned
go
a
clear.
world
Oh wait, no, we gotta talk. We gotta learn a little about
we
Elron.
gotta hear what he says about the state of
and
play.
achieve true happiness. He was no ivory tower philosopher. He lived life to the fullest as an explorer, pilot, ship captain,
It's all bullshit, by the way.
researcher, and writer. Since the 1930s, L. Ron Hubbard has been a top best-selling author, writing in over 35 genres, selling over 100 million books and read in over 90 countries. He used
Yeah, because he was a psychopath that had a condition where he couldn't stop writing his littlest thought down to his adherents.
Hypographia, isn't that what that's called?
Yeah, you got it.
Represent over 60
right.
million words, and together with over 5,000.
Someone asked, what was that number again? Martha, leave the poor girl alone. But then Veronica makes a really good point, which I'd like to believe, where she says, dude, she's probably really good at signing innocent, clueless people up. Yeah, absolutely. Right, Veronica? With that sweetness? They're the bad ones. Okay, that's a good point. It makes me feel less guilty. Thank you.
Largest selling
Mary Jane doesn't know she's doing something bad, though.
Following the
And is her name really Mary Jane?
She
I mean,
thinks
come
she's
on.
helping.
continued his research into what he called the
Unlike us.
awareness or life.
We were just trolling.
No, we knew we weren't helping. That's the difference,
We.
right, Veronica?
You.
But I think Veronica's right, though, man. She probably would be really good to suck in innocent people with that, demeanor.
Are spread over 6 continents.
How'd that go in Germany?
From the United States.
Mary Jane is going to be in ethics tomorrow morning. Says 11ABASP, and that's where I feel bad because if they catch this video, she's in deep shit.
L. Ron Hubbard.
She didn't know. Come on.
First truly workable.
Like, would she really get in trouble?
And how to
This is where they have the.
Look at this
protest
little
over this
the
weekend.
indoctrination of these little kids.
I know, it's so sick, by the way, when they get to the kids. Look at that, man.
Teachers around the world. In drug rehabilitation, L. Ron Hubbard discovered the first proven techniques.
As if Hubbard would know a damn thing about drug rehab when he was on every drug known to man when he was giving those lectures.
His methods have salvaged the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. And
He couldn't even salvage his own life, Joni.
No, he
should've
dropped
just
his
stuck to
body on
trying to fix
purpose.
himself.
exclusively using L. Ron Hubbard's technology. As a humanitarian, he wrote a modern, practical moral code
Look at this fucking guy.
based on common sense to help arrest the declining values in society. Tens of millions of copies have been
That sweater look went out a long, long time ago.
offering the
Just relaxing with his sweater.
happier life. L. Ron Hubbard has been acknowledged the world
God, that bust. I hate that bust.
to helping his fellow man and bringing about a new
Way to rip off the Full House intro.
using his technology. Millions are crossing the bridge to a better life.
Wow.
Does anyone know where
No,
Shelley
they're
is? Somebody knows.
Mary Jane has definitely not crossed the bridge into a greater life as she's stuck at bridge right
Don't
now.
call the
dude, taking
number.
phone
Don't
calls from
call the number.
trollers. Yeah, don't call the number, please.
Please
guys.
don't call the number.
Joni, should we give her another call?
No,
You call her this time, damn it.
Information Center,
I'm not calling Mary Jane.
Hollywood Boulevard,
I am not good under pressure. You were like
Los Angeles, California.
so smooth and so chill.
6313.
I would have
Hey, I used to be a
like
Scientologist,
peed
Joni.
and
I can't
thrown
take
up at the
credit
same
for that.
time. I'm not an actor. Some of us didn't train with
You just have
Martin
to be
Landau.
a real ex-Scientologist. I slipped right into that mode. What did you
I
think
find-
of the Xanu touch, man? That was amazing, actually. I'm so glad we did this today and that you had this idea. We got to do more. We got to watch more of these videos, man.
I need to find more
Just to
tapes.
look back at them when we're out. No, I mean, that'll be it for now, right? But I mean, we should do more broadcasts.
Dianetic
where,
symbol in a
'cause that was
circle. Oh, Lord.
amazing, actually. I mean, Joni, I really learned a lot of stuff, like watching this in present time rather than when I was in it, and you could just see what a con trick it really is.
Let me take a
It's
moment
actually quite therapeutic.
because we did get a raid from my friend 7-Eleven Chicken Wings. Chicken Wing. Just to explain, I'm Joni. Hello, this is my channel, VC Archives. And this is my guest today, Doug. And he's a former Scientologist, and so am I. And now we're talking about how much it sucked. And we watched a Dianetics tape so that we could, debunk it and laugh at it, and apparently prank call for a good 20 minutes. I don't even know how long that was. That was a long call. Some poor girl named Mary Jane, and yeah.
Wow.
So that's what.
That's definitely gonna be an
that's what you-
engram I have to run out later.
Do you want to go? Do you want to
Joni,
have a
can we do
session right
some-
now? Do you want to close your eyes?
Yes,
and
I do. Okay.
Picture
Let's run
the
out Mary
incident.
Jane incident.
I've already
But
forgotten.
since the reactive mind thinks an A equals A equals A, if I run out the incident with Mary Jane on the phone right now, how do I know I'm not going to accidentally simultaneously run out my love of the real Mary Jane? I don't want to take that chance. I'm going to skip the session.
All right.
She'll be
We'll
fine.
just- okay.
Do we end off here? Do we take any questions? Like,
Does
always
anybody have
sucks
any
to have to
questions?
say
If
goodbye.
you have, does anybody any burning thoughts in your?
Do you
So
guys
here's
have any
what I'm-
questions or comments you want to take up? If you want to throw the question marks, I can see you in my chat, even though we don't have a chat running on Joni's. Otherwise,
You
I
have
guess we'll
way
run
more
out of here,
people
but
in yours than I do in mine right now, so we can absolutely talk about anything anybody in there wants to.
let's just see. People are saying Xenu, they want to play the party game. Don't
All
mind
right.
joining them on
I'm
that
not-
particular aspect.
I'm a square. I just have coffee, but
Joni, did you ever used to be a stoner?
in high school, big time. Thank you for
I could
that.
totally see you as
Steffi is sick. Thank you, and for yoinking Slav.
Veronica would like me to send the book that I first read to the cult. I don't have any of the books, Veronica. I did a whole ritual where I took all my books. I had the red volumes. I had the tapes. I had everything. And I put them in 2 big dumpsters, and I lit a fire and just watched it burn. And as soon as that was done, it really like took an elephant off my back. But now since I've been doing a channel, I really wish I had all that shit now. I got rid of my clear bracelet, which was expensive. I had a picture with David Miscavige at the New York org when I was helping the Sea Org members. Me and the little elf, you know. I had a whole bunch of memorabilia that's just burned
I
in
did
fire.
too. I threw all mine away
Really?
in just shame and embarrassment. Like I don't
I
want
hear
anybody
you.
to find
Did you
us
have
and
a
know
lot?
that I did that. I had just a couple of certificates. I think.
Okay, we got
Like
some
nothing too
questions. Do you want to
exciting.
hear them, Joni?
Sure,
Want me to
sure.
fire them at you. Test your Scientology recollection.
Oh, okay.
Martha says, "What drugs did L. Ron Howard like?" That would be Hubbard. Yes.
There was what is
A
the
better
one he
question
took?
would be, which one didn't he like? He
Because
took
he did
everything.
uppers and downers, right? Like he
Yeah,
cycled
and he
through.
was an alcoholic. He could hold his liquor too. I mean, literally, Martha, like everything. Speed was one of his things. I'm not sure he's totally into hallucinogens like mushrooms and LSD, but he was on something all the time. And he gave most of his lectures high as a motherfucker. Gurur says, if auditing sessions are all recorded, how is it none of those have ever leaked into the public? How does Scientology control all those digital assets? Well, those folders are generally in the basement of the orgs. That's where they were at. You're not going to get in there unless you go do some serious thievery to get to where the folders are at. Because in even if it's a small organization, they'll have them locked off in a room. So it'd be very difficult to actually get anybody's folders. So that's how they keep control of that. And then how they control their digital assets. Well, since they're still stuck in the age of using telexes and shit and writing down everything, and they have literal folders, I'm not even sure they have to worry a ton about the digital aspect. They're not totally non-tech savvy, but they're still stuck in the 50s. So most of their real important assets, like the PC folders and such, they're just put behind lock and key, not on computer.
Hey, I got a question for you, Doug. Are you still gonna do your Sunday night Q&A tonight?
No, we'll probably do that tomorrow night, guys, just because I didn't want to be rushed hanging out with. I'm so glad we did this, by the way, Joni.
Well, I'm
It's
just
such a good
realizing
idea.
I'm really hungry and I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm like,
Okay, well, we can
if people
call
have
it
a lot
then.
of questions,
we
I
did a
thought,
good
oh,
2 hours.
yeah, but if you're not doing a Q&A, then I feel bad. Like I ruined it. But also hi
This
to
is
Nuts
do you mind
and Board.
Do you mind if we
and-
spend 5 more minutes and I could just kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Because we could just
Can I
answer
leave
like 2
you?
questions.
Can I leave you? If I
Sure.
can just have like 5,
Will you come
I
back?
can. Yeah.
Sure,
Let me
come back.
see.
Let's hang out for a little bit. Just answer some questions and we'll
I
roll out
can't
like in 15 minutes.
I can't make you big. You're only gonna be. That didn't work.
Go
at all.
pee.
Okay,
You go
hold on. I
pee.
gotta figure out how to hide
Let me
myself.
put my tone
Okay.
for the intention in. You go pee.
Don't. You're gonna make me pee in my chair if you impinge too
Okay.
much.
Sorry. Wow. Okay.
I gotta figure out how to.
So while you're doing that, we'll take questions. Amy says, Criminon. Doug, can you tell me much about that program that's funded at least in California prison? Well, me and my dad used to grade criminals' papers and stuff. In other words, we would send in extension courses for them to do. That's part of it. And another version is having to go through their sauna program, which is called it's so confusing. There's 2 different branches of Criminon. They get it into the prisons via the extension courses that I just told you about, which Scientologists grade. And then they also sometimes have the sauna program and the training routines or the communication course to get the prisoner in present time to get him off drugs, etc. There's really not much to say about that, except that we covered it on the channel under the guise of helping people. Most people under the guise of a front group called Criminon. It doesn't say Scientology. The system and the prisoner, the guards and stuff in general, they just think it's a program that helps people out. They see the results, and they never are. They're none the wiser that Scientology infiltrated their prison systems, and they do that not just in California, my friend, but all over the world. That's how they kind of get mind control into prisons, and that's how Charlie Manson was introduced to it. It wasn't called Criminon back in the day, but they had a program that was exactly like that under a different name, which is how they got Dianetics and Scientology to Charles Manson and a bunch of prisoners at that time. Stand by, please. Gurroar, how are you, my friend? Asked Doug, how many people did you get into Scientology? Are any of them still in? I think I only got one person in. I tried to get other people in. Thank God they didn't take to it. I would get my friends to, I'd show them the ARC triangle. I would show them the ethics conditions. I'd get them kind of used to it to not hit them with the word Scientology, but just to show them this, tech that I was using. And then if they were interested in that, I would slip them that, let me take you down to the Scientology Center. So I got quite a bit of my friends down there, but none of them took to it except for one girlfriend. Her name was Melinda. We dated for, 7 or 8 years. We were both trying to move up the ladder in Hollywood and be actors. And she took to it, but mostly only because I was into it. Because when we broke up, thankfully, she left. So I don't have to live with any guilt of having to rescue anybody out that I got in. Hope that answers your question. Any more questions? Let me see. If I was in control of this stream, guys, I'd be able to put on music and shit, but I'm trying this Twitch thing with Joni, and it doesn't have as many options. Joni's going to leave me here with my dick in my hand, and I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. Okay, OB, how are you doing? OBG
What about your dick
Foster.
in your hand?
Yeah, I thought that's the part you'd come
Don't
in,
violate
Joni. So you've
terms
been
of
listening
service.
the whole time.
No, I was
Do
just-
Scientology actors have to swear off the Stanislavski method because of sense memory recall?
Ooh, interesting.
Can you even begin? Do you want to take a crack at that, Joni?
I have no fucking idea. I'm not the actor.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same
Obviously.
thing. Let me just.
It's an
read
interesting
this
question, though.
Do Scientology actors have to swear off the Stanislavski, that's method acting, the Stanislavski method, because of sense memory recall? It's a really good question, OBG, and that was covered briefly in the video, which I'll link in the description box, called Tom Cruise and John Travolta Preach Scientology at the Actor Studio. And you can hear both Tom Cruise and John Travolta, but specifically Tom Cruise, talk about how he avoids the method acting, which is what was kind of taught at the Actor Studio and where they're talking at. It's a prestigious school that they're talking at. This is the one that I went to with Martin Landau being my teacher at the time. We did kind of do method acting, but you could do anything. But yes, you can hear Tom talk around the fact that he doesn't like to re-stimulate memories, i.e. method act, and he likes to use his imagination. And Travolta said the same thing. So it's not in the policies of Scientology, but yes, I didn't want to do method acting when I was in the cult, and you're talked off of using real memories and just to use your imagination. So yeah, that's a good point. And I would say you're not talked off into it like you can't do it, but it's understood once you learn how the reactive mind works, which we just learned all about, that you don't want to stimulate yourself in acting. You just want to use pure raw memory or imagination.
Doug,
That's a great question.
Though Tom Cruise is like OT whatever. I mean, he's way beyond the point of restimulation, right? Like
Well, yeah, but obviously he hasn't really destimulated anything, but in his mind, he would think that. It doesn't matter though, Joni. You would still follow the policy of Hubbard where no matter how much bank you've gotten rid of, or let's say he's at OT8, you still wouldn't just re-stimulate stuff. You just wouldn't do it because of the very video that, did you learn nothing in the video we watched? I mean, everything's an engram. We just talked to fucking Mary Jane, dude, and she says, I'm getting engrams by fucking smoking weed.
I have a
Stand by, we'll add
question.
another engram.
Yeah, no, I have a question for you. Okay. And for the people still on my channel, hi. Look, I do not typically go this deep into any particular topic. This is just what we're doing today. Usually, if you come back, you'll find me watching VHS tapes of all kinds. This just happens to be the tape we watched today, and I happen to have a kind of expert. You missed the beginning. Will these be available for replay? Oh, shoot. I forgot to set it to... Yeah, I'll have to publish it after. I forgot to set it to save the VOD, or to publish the VOD. So it'll be available after. So yeah, nuts and board.
You might as well have been speaking Scientology. That went right over my head, but I trust that
I was talking to
People
Nuts
not
and
as
Board
dumb as
2.
know what you said.
Electric
Oh, okay.
Nutsaloo. Okay, look, I have a question. This occurred to me yesterday. No, Friday, the other day. So, all right. If you go up into the higher confidential levels of Scientology, you learn about what's called body thetans. And just to do like a minimal amount of word clearing, the thetan is like your spiritual being. Your spiritual, like not your body.
Yeah.
And then when you
clear
get
that up in 2 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. One Mississippi.
Yeah, that's a good point too, Johnny, because
Mississippi.
it's a confusion. Because they say you're infected by aliens on the OT levels, and those are body thetans, and then they also say you're a thetan. So it's real simple. A thetan is the real you in Scientology. It's another word for it is a spiritual being. So that means you're not your mind, you're not your body, and you're not even your personality. You are that consciousness which will live on forever and can never die and goes from life to life. So
Body to
the
body, right.
the body thetans that you're getting rid of on the confidential levels are in the same predicament. They're thetans, they're spiritual beings that live forever. They just happen to be so unconscious, and whatever happened in their past lifetimes, it brought them somehow, which is not explained by Hubbard, to a point where they're now attached to the bodies of humans, and they're so degraded that they need a Scientologist who owns a body to get in contact with them. You clear them, you send them on their way, and then it's not explained what happens to them after that, but Hubbard gives the hint that they can now also go out and get a body, and so it felt like I was freeing spiritual beings.
This brings me to my question. If that were true, look, and I realize we're trying to make sense of nonsense, but if that were true, it seems like there would be people, like let's say you're Tom Cruise and you've been through those levels. He's probably audited and cleared and released hundreds of body thetans at this point, right? They all went out and found bodies. So wouldn't it stand to reason that there would be people who, when doing auditing on their whole track or on their past lives, would realize that they had previously been a body thetan trapped in Tom Cruise's body? Like, wouldn't that happen?
I suppose, but I mean, I didn't have any of those thoughts, but are you watching too many Tom Cruise movies to come up with that as a possibility?
That's just an example. Like, could I say, I was doing some whole track auditing and I discovered that I previously was a cancerous growth in Tom Cruise's butt, but he handled me and freed me, and I went out and I found a baby body, and now here I am. Like, you couldn't debunk that if you were a Scientologist, could you?
No, but you bring up a point which I hadn't thought of. The narcissism of Scientology is so extreme that in the incidents you come up with, generally speaking, in the auditing session, are you're either somebody really famous. There's no like, I was a fucking street cleaner or anything. Like, you have a tendency to make up memories where you wouldn't be a cyst on Tom Cruise's asshole. That would be too non-important for you to audit. So, most people.
No,
would think
I was a clump of precancerous cells. He had to handle me, or he would have died.
No, I don't think a single Scientologist has ever thought they were a body thetan, but that would certainly.
I'm just saying, it's out there. It seems like it's out there for somebody to do that. In Japan, no,
I'm
you're
sure
wrong.
Someone has.
You told me this, and I told you you're right. So Japan says the body thetan is unconscious, so you couldn't remember it on the whole track. But all of your whole track is unconscious. Did you not see the video just then? That lady was recalling.
No, she's right though, or he. Sorry, I don't know why.
Was recalling the engrams that occurred when she fell off the ladder and was unconscious. So you'd remember. If you were auditing yourself
the
correctly.
body thetans, which are on the OT levels, are unconscious. That's why when you get when you finish OT3, but you're trying to make sense of it. Nonsense.
Yeah.
Listen,
fair.
Joni.
That's fair.
Japan got it right. Let me explain. So on OT3, there are body thetans that you get rid of. You're promised you're done with all of them. Then when you get to OT4, they say, "Oops, sorry, there were druggy body thetans."
Oh, that's
no. They're druggy body thetans, and they were unconscious. And then on 5, you're told, now you're going to get to the super unconscious ones that were acting like a doorknob, that were acting like a matter, energy, space, time object. I mean, it gets really silly, but no, that's the true philosophy. And I think Don't confuse, like, it's just a thetan, whether you're a body
Okay.
thetan stuck to Tom Cruise's ass in total unconsciousness that needs to be freed by a Scientologist with a body, or you're in a body, you are the thetan. So they're all the same thing. It's just degrees of consciousness. It's that simple.
Okay, so
Like
Japan
like
says
the
that
body
a
thetans are
body
just
can
as
be
important as the real thetan, because they
a
are
body can be
thetans.
unconscious, but a thetan is consciousness. So an unconscious thetan.
Are we going to have to word clear you? What
Like,
is
what
so
the fuck is
complex
it?
about that? We're all
Okay,
spiritual
if
beings, whether you're a body thetan attached to my body that I
okay,
have to audit off, or you're you,
look,
Joni, the thetan
if your
occupying the
thetan
body. It's
is your
all spiritual
consciousness,
beings.
how can it be unconscious?
What do you mean?
How can a
Like you're a
thetan
spiritual
be
being in
unconscious?
amnesia. You're a spiritual being in
You're
amnesia.
making
That's
stuff
why
up
you're
now.
here
You're just
on the...
making shit up
No,
now.
you're not even letting me finish what I'm saying. I'm telling. I was a Scientologist for like 2 decades. I
So
got
much
up to
longer than
OT3.
me. Yes, all right. All right.
Yeah. No, this is a prison planet. We are suffering from amnesia. So even
Right.
though we are spiritual beings with all the native power, we're all unconscious of it until we go up the bridge to total freedom. And the unconsciousness can be a body thetan that's super unconscious that needs help just to reincarnate into a body. And if, like you and me, if you're in a body, you have the
Super
opportunity
unconscious?
just this one time to retrieve all your whole track memories for yourself, so you don't have to keep going on the birth and death cycle and coming back here. You leave here in conscious awareness. You can create your own universe again, and this is a prison planet. Those are the beliefs of Scientology, man.
All right.
That's not me
So
making up a damn thing.
a body thetan's not just unconscious, it's super unconscious.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have another question then. Let's say it's a single day on Earth, and in that day, 100 people die, but only 50 babies are born. Do 50 of those babies, so 100 thetans go claim the baby bodies, right? But there's too many thetans and not enough baby bodies. So what happens to the extra leftover thetans?
There's no explanation given, Joni. In fact, you're asking questions that would snap somebody out of it. Like I was so brainwashed. This is what no, it's a good point you bring up, because people don't understand. Like by the time we get up to OT3 and we're believing in this, we're not thinking critically like you are. So we don't ask for an explanation. There's so much shit that he left out, Joni, about how any of this would be possible. And there's a lot of questions that come up. Like even the dating, it goes back to billions of years when the Earth wasn't even here. The volcanoes where these thetans are supposed to have been dumped, they couldn't have existed according to real science. So our science is reframed. We don't believe in regular science. It's what Hubbard's metaphysics takes over your mind. So by the time you get up to questions like, well, if there's 50 babies and then there's 100 thetans,
did they fight?
You're not even asking that. No, and one body has thousands and thousands of thetans on them. So it doesn't matter how many babies you do or don't have. You could have 1 million beings on one body or 50 or whatever. But again, he doesn't ever get that specific about it. And you're thinking way too much on these concepts.
All right. Now, it was interesting, though. I do want to talk
We
about
just don't
Mary.
think that way.
When you talked about Xenu to Mary Jane, do you think her answer was sincere? Where she was like, I've heard that. I've never heard.
Acknowledge that, by the way? Can you?
She's like, I've never. She said, I read a lot of books and I've never read anything like that. Do you think she was telling the truth?
Well, she sounded young, right? So she's probably not on the OT levels, but she probably heard a lot of people like me who she knew was trolling call her and just get right to the point. Xenu. I think that, I don't know if she would think that that's true or not, but I know she was lying to me about them not believing in aliens, because even if you read a couple books at the beginning steps before you get up to the confidential levels, she would be aware that there's metaphysical concepts that deal with aliens and weird concepts that she wasn't being upfront about me by just telling me it's just a science of the mind or whatever. She was totally bullshitting me on the phone. I mean, you got that, right? Whether or not she knows the truth about Xenu, I don't know, but she knows enough about it where it comes up all the time, so she has to have an answer. And also, did you notice, which really surprised me, I said Xanu. So she's the one that said, oh, you mean Xenu? They're not even supposed to say that word, Joni. Like the fact that word came out of her mouth.
I hope everybody
I'm
drank
surprised that she said that.
at that point, too.
Huh?
I hope everybody took a
What?
drink when she said that.
Oh, yeah, good point. I'll type that in. Or you guys get the point. Drink up.
That was That was, I can't wait to go back. Like, I was kind of losing my shit. So I have to go back and watch that because I was just like barely
Joni,
hanging on
I
to
so had my
sanity.
TRs in. I don't even
You were
remember what we
amazing.
talked about. So it'd be a trip to watch that back. We got to clip that. I'll put it up just as a little segment on the
For
YouTube channel or
sure.
something. Because that's the longest conversation that it's hard to get a conversation like that. I mean, on tape. She knew that I gave, I had the number blocked, Joni, so she saw that. Your fucking scared ass just called her 2 seconds before and hung up on her. So even to get her on the phone, she knew I had a fake name and she still half believed in that. And so we got a good 20 minutes with a fucking Scientologist. I wonder if we can get her on the show. We'll get her out of the cult, then we'll have her come on and we'll have her break down that conversation. Like, did you believe in Xenu or not? I have a million questions for Mary Jane if you're listening. She's probably trapped in ethics in the basement right now, having to watch this video of the phone call over and over again as part of her conditions. I feel so bad.
So I'm trying to get, okay, so Japan says if I was the lady who fell off the ladder and I was knocked unconscious, my body is unconscious, but my thetan is conscious.
Say that again.
So if I was the lady who fell off the ladder in the video and she was knocked unconscious, it's her body that's unconscious, but her thetan is unconscious? Question mark?
Or her thetan's conscious, you mean?
Yeah.
Can you read that one more time?
Okay. So you fall off a ladder and you're knocked unconscious, right? It's your body that's unconscious, but your thetan is still conscious.
Yeah, that's
Is
basically
that correct?
it. Again,
Okay.
I would say that's not written in stone, but that's a way of phrasing it. Yes, when you're knocked unconscious, in Dianetics, it would be said more that your mind. It doesn't even bring the spirit in. Did you hear what on the phone call? She even explained, which, by the way, Jody, all Scientologists do this, right? She's talking to a newbie on the phone, and she's already telling me the definition of Scientology. It means knowing how to know, and she said Dianetics means through mind. She's already jumping the gradient on what she should even be talking about. But that's what they do when they get excited and they think they got somebody that's really interested. They'll over-explain shit. I mean, that would have been gibberish if I wasn't a Scientologist and I didn't know what she was talking about. I would have had a million questions that I didn't have. But since Dianetics is through mind, that's not totally correct. It depends on if you're talking about Dianetics or Scientology. So in Dianetics, it's the mind that's recording it, the subconscious. There's no spirit involved. It was in 1953 when it became Scientology, where then he introduced the spirit. That also helped him get away with the religious con, because unlike Dianetics, where it's a psychotherapy, he could say, look, we're religious because we deal with the spirit. And because we deal with the spirit, then if you got knocked out in Scientology, it's considered that the spirit has a perfect memory. It knows every lifetime, every detail. You can send that file clerk, to have the spirit be sent. The spirit can do anything. It's like what you would consider God, and that's who you are. And so the spirit would be consciously recording everything on the deepest level through all your lifetimes. Whereas in Dianetics, it's just the mind that's recording everything. It's a long-winded answer, but I don't know how else to answer what she said.
It's just Japan was trying to explain it to me, and then he said, how do I know Scientology better than you when you were a Scientologist and I wasn't? You're just a better studier, I guess.
I'm willing to be challenged, but I don't know a single thing I've said that isn't what I was taught in Scientology. So ask that.
He was talking to Japan was saying to me that he knows more than I do, and I was in it and he wasn't.
I'm not proud of this shit, by the way, Joni. It's not. So many people in this community, by the way, hold it up like they're proud that they know all this shit, and it's like, oh, I'm so happy I got to these levels. I'm ashamed that I know this shit, but fuck, man, it was in my brain. I can't unknow it. But
I like talking about it though, because
well, maybe in Japan's defense, I mean, you kind of were smart enough, unlike me, to fucking reject it. So you were in and out of there, and it wasn't your whole life, right? Or was
just
it?
for like a year, and then
there you go. Japan's been probably studying it for years, and maybe does, thank God you only spent a year in it and didn't learn all this bullshit.
And then I was just casually socially involved after that.
Did you kind of pick up a lot of terms and stuff just being casually socially involved?
Oh yeah, well no, that year on staff is full immersion. You know, like I
Okay.
still
So
remember.
how much do you feel like you did learn, Joni, when you were in for that year? Did you soak up a lot of the terminology, and do you know enough about it where
Yeah,
you can challenge Japan?
I still hear words and phrases sometimes where I'm like, ooh, I don't know what that is. But any word that you would use around the office, you
Hmm.
know, I had to
Like
learn what
N
all that
theta,
shit meant.
does that ring a bell?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
SP ethics. What are some of the other stupid thought terminating
PTS.
cliches? Yeah, you know all the basic shit, right?
Yeah. MEST, DevT.
Someone says, Doug, these ideas about BTs are very similar to Carlos Castaneda's theories. That's philosophy. Yeah, and also philosophy, as you know, I'm sure, almost every religious tradition / cult / mystery school, it always involves possession. So the possession on Scientology was OT3 and beyond. Carlos Castaneda, didn't he refer to it like a mind virus or something? And then, the Gnostics have their version, which are called the archons. The Christians have the demons. There's something about possession where it's whether it's a Carlos Castaneda. I even think Philip Dick talked about it, and he called them the mind forged manacles, and he felt like he was kind of possessed. There's something about like that's why I actually consider it a little bit, Joni, where my jury's out, but some fucked up shit happened that was beyond just, mind control when I got onto those levels and I believed in that possession aspect. I mean, it literally caused me to have my first and only psychotic break outside of their organization. And then when I was deprogramming, it was one thing to learn about what happened to me, but there was something about getting into the satanic and the esoteric and the possession aspect that I never saw like demons or anything. I never seen entities, but there was something about understanding the occult aspect of it, just understanding that, which got this evil energy off of me that almost, it proves something. I mean, it proves that I literally felt different most of my life in Scientology and being in a Scientology family. And then with all the deprogramming I did about understanding how the trick was done, like 10 years deep, the final piece was understanding the possession part, which philosophy was talking about, whether our imagination makes it so, and therefore it becomes that, or there really is such a thing. I don't think it matters. It has the same effect, but that I really did feel an energy be released from me as I learned about the occult / possession aspect. And there must be a reason why all the religious traditions swear by it. It doesn't mean I want to pick up a religion. It doesn't mean I believe in possession necessarily. It's just that it's interesting that it's been talked about so much all throughout ancient history and all in the religions. It's
And
a
you got to
fascinating
understand
question.
too, and it's hard to describe this, but from the first time you walk into that place, there's something almost like tangible because it's been
Yeah, the energy, right?
it's been decades of kind of honing the grift, for lack of a better word. I don't know, but you
Yeah,
walk in there
yeah, I
and
hear you.
it's palpable, and it's
Yes.
hard to explain what it is, but it just like
know what you're
envelops
talking
you almost, and that can't. Yeah, I don't
Joni,
know. I don't know enough
there
about the
was a
brain and trauma and whatever, but there's no way it's not rewiring shit. Do you know what I mean? It's
oh, that's a
rewiring
perfect
shit.
way to put it. Yeah, for sure. But the thing, but even more though, what you just talked about the energy, I read out an article from John Stamos the other day who had a brush with them just very briefly in a quick auditing session, and he had the best description of it ever. And it was like half Chateau Marmont, half like something or rather, half fucking creepy and half a mental hospital. He was kind of describing, because it's hard to put into words, this very energy that you'll feel if you go into their celebrity center. Like you could feel it. Even when
And
I
it's
went
not
back to protest,
exclusive.
Joni, I could tell that there's something there because I haven't been in it forever. I protested at Celebrity Center and the Big Blue building, and just going back into the buildings, sneaking in. I'm telling you, dude, they're fucking haunted. You can feel the
Yeah.
energy, the evil energy in these places. Wow.
And it's not exclusive to Scientology. It's any like if you
No,
ever watch
exactly.
if you ever watch people like at like the kind of churches where Marilyn went to,
Right,
like the charismatic speaking to, like those people are
Talking in
having
tongues.
an experience.
Some kind of experience.
Something really
right?
real. And I can't even imagine how that felt to be in that environment. And it would kind of possess you, I'm sure, whatever that
Yeah.
means. No,
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about Exorcist, but, you know,
No, I hear
hypnosis.
what you're
It's all
saying.
hypnosis. It's all just, yeah. Anyway, do you have any more questions?
I think we're about done. This is just seriously, Joni, I really thank you for setting this up and having this idea. I want to do more of these streams because I've learned we learned so much going back into our Dianetics experience. We got to talk to a Scientologist tonight.
That
for
was
20 minutes.
I did not expect that.
Expanding experience. And then we get to kill two birds with one stone with a little Q&A. Thanks for sticking around because I didn't have time to do that because we're doing this. So a couple more questions.
Yeah, I'm looking
Joni,
at your
and then
chat,
we'll roll
yeah.
out.
Acquired
Okay,
taste says
cool.
ecstatic. Yeah, that can come in any form. It's the same thing.
You run.
You watch people at a church revival, and it's no different than watching kids in a mosh pit. You know, it's all the same.
Exactly.
It's just
I'd much rather be in a
going
mosh
to
pit
church.
than the church revival. You're right, though. Something
yeah,
happens,
right?
Like they get.
It's so
like you
sad
said,
because
it's basically just hip.
yeah, like these old women having these ecstatic experiences, and you're like, oh, honey, that's like the most exciting thing that's going to happen to you all week. Go to go to a concert, go have a shag, you know. But no, that's the outlet. That's the permissible way to kind of cut loose and get wild and relieve some tension and have you know. Anyway, have you seen those 90s science VHS tapes? I used to love them so much. They were mostly in white rooms with a specific type of animal or dinosaur. White rooms with a specific type of animal. That doesn't seem familiar to me. But, yeah. Sorry, that's a disappointing answer.
I got a comment from Zini's Little Helper if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Doug, I worked in a call center and there are scripts that cover every expected back and forth between the client. That's a great point. I'm sure she knows what to say.
I'm really curious though. I feel like I'm going to wager that Mary Jane is not usually the person you would be connected to in this situation. I think she's who was there at 6:30 on a Sunday.
That's a great observation.
Do you know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah.
Because it seemed to take whoever answered the phone, it took her a while to find somebody.
Find somebody that can answer my technical questions, right? Because she could tell I had questions about Dianetics and that she probably was just the person to route the call. So she probably had to go into the back office and find, we know they're at Bridge, Joni. That's where she said she was at. And like you said, on Sunday, that they have their libs and they're probably getting their 2 hours to actually have a life of their own. And they're spending it doing wash and trying to get cigarettes and get some fucking food and shit. So yeah, she's probably one of just the few people that are there that knew the tech enough to get me on the phone. Thanks for making me feel 100 times worse because,
yeah,
you know,
you cut into her laundry time.
I know, man. Fuck.
Marilyn says, yeah, the euphoria is the same. It's chemicals.
Yes.
I'd rather go to a concert.
Marilyn would
I've been to concerts, man. I've been to concerts where it's like, it feels like church. Like, it feels like how church would feel if church was rad. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
When we kind of just become like one organism, and there's this particular band that my boyfriend likes called V&V Nation. I'd never heard of V&V Nation until I met him. But you go see V&V Nation now, and it's like middle-aged goth people, you know, just like 50-year-old bald goth guys, and it's like a very church-like experience. And this guy, the singer for this group, is just like, he's sort of he's still ministering to the 80s goth kids.
That's something I would consider joining. That sounds pretty cool. When you get past your prime,
like this
you can
is
still party and shit.
If this is church,
Someone
I'm in.
wanted to know, by the way, if I got the fucking email. Let me check. I gotta check. Yes, I did. There it is. It is in
Read
the
it, read it,
fucking
read it.
spam, dude.
Let's
Yo,
see.
it says it has this red sign, which I've never seen before. This must be why they put it in spam. It says, really, I wish I could fucking show this to you. Damn it. See, if we were on YouTube, Joni, as kick-ass as Twitch is, we can't fucking share anything.
It's
I
not
could
to
show
do with
people
that.
this
It's
right
to do with the software. It's if we were on Restream
Not
or
your
whatever
fault, but
versus
seriously,
my software.
This is when we really need to be able to share shit. Okay, but it just says this big red thing. It's okay. We'll talk about it off air. A few ethics conditions, you'll be good to go. This message seems dangerous. Similar messages were used to steal people's personal information. Avoid clicking links, downloading attachments, or replying with personal information. And I have to click the button that says looks safe.
That's
Holy
how
shit, I've
Gmail
never seen
flagged
this
it?
before. Yes, and they put it in my spam. Okay, so this is what she says. Dear Doug, thank you for calling in. I would like to share, this is a script like the aforementioned thing we talked about that the person mentioned. Thank you for calling in. I would like to share some videos with you on Dianetics from the current DVD set of how to use Dianetics. She even got the exact thing we talked about, Joni. As well as a sample of the beginning of the book attached. There's a glossary at the back for any words you're not sure of. You can get a copy of your Dianetics book with this link where we can ship to the address you like. I included a copy of the bridge you were asking about as a gift. Hell yeah. And she's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 6 links to Dianetic videos, which I don't dare click on. I look forward to hearing what you think. And then it also says downloading these attachments is disabled. This email has been identified as phishing. If you want to download these, I got to get the fuck off this page, dude. I knew this fucking bitch was going to use me. Okay. I feel a hell of a lot less guilty, Joni. She was just putting on a happy face. She's fucking trying to fish my ass. She's playing me when I thought I was playing her. Okay, Mary Jane. We're fucking doing phone call
I
number
want
2
screenshots of
next
all
year.
of that.
Now, this is war, Joni. Mary Jane, that sweet gal that I was feeling guilty about, just played my ass. Go ahead, guys. You know where I live. It's just more content if you show up at my door. I think we're
So
done,
good.
Joni. Let's fucking call it a night. There's no more
Somebody a while
questions.
back in your chat said, where can I see you? And I was going to say, right here on Twitch. Twitch.tv
on Twitch.
/
I'm going to link
BC
Joni's.
Archives.
I'm going to link that in the description box, guys, so you can find Joni.
And
go,
just so you
go
know,
show her some love and sign up for her.
99% of the time, we just watch whatever tapes we come across. This is a rare deep dive into a thing. Usually I do. Usually I do like short attention span where I'll just play like a few minutes of a tape and then play a few minutes of another tape.
Okay, well tonight, Joni, you've discovered your real content creation niche / calling. I think this is the format you need to go with. Enough fucking around. It's time to get serious with deep diving on all your videos.
No.
Because it's cool, man.
Do
that
you
got
have
all
any
these
idea
old
how
videos.
dumb most of them are?
Okay, I take that back then. I mean, what we just watched was great quality compared to what you play.
No, look, because I like to go buy tapes that don't have labels on them, all right? They're mystery tapes, and we play mystery tape bingo together in my chat. And it is 9 times out of 10 grandma's tape of like CSI.
Okay,
It's
any potential
really
subscribers that I just fed over to you are now gone. I mean, could you sell your product any worse than what you just did?
No, I find it really fun. A handful of us find it really fun. Look, if you win bingo, you actually win a thing. Where is it? I'm going to show you. There's an actual
Well, then
prize now.
sell your shit a little better, man. Saying that it's boring or whatever. Because
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. It's boring as fuck most of the time, but we hang out and we have fun.
Fair enough.
I can't oversell it because then you'll be like, you promised this would be interesting. And it's
True.
not.
You still sound like a Scientologist if you did.
But
well, if it's
sometimes
anything
we
like
find
this material,
really, really
I think
good.
they're onto something.
We spent 2 hours on Friday watching a really boring Vietnamese couple wedding tape from 1996.
That sounds funny. Okay, I get why you call yourself Nerdy Girl Films, and it just sounds fucking. Maybe okay. You do have your niche, Joni. 2 quick questions before we roll out. Do you mind?
Yes.
And this is for both of us from Gurroar. What's the Celebrity Center a fun? Was the Celebrity Center a fun place to hang out? Could you drink there? Could you party? Joni?
No.
Take it over.
What? No. It was an office. It was an office like any other office, and it was a very tense office with weird.
When I went there, it was
lack of boundaries.
Okay, I guess it would be different in Portland, right? The Celebrity Center was a hopping place here in LA. You definitely can't drink, you can't party there. It was there to do your choruses, basically. But it did have a certain, again, when I was in it, it seemed electric. But when I'm out of it, it seemed like it had an evil vibe, and it's all about work, work, work. You could hang out, but well, Joni, compared to yours and any other celebrity center across the world, it was more fun.
No,
'Cause we didn't
I'm
always
sure
have to
LA
work.
Celebrity Center was way more interesting because you
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
had,
but it
you
still
know,
sucks.
celebrities.
Once in a while, but not as much as people might think, because they go through the back door and stuff if they're super famous. One more from ITABASP. What if LRH really did come back, saw how badly DM fucked up his quote religion, and decides to just have a normal life?
I've often wanted to, if I had writing skills or patience, I thought it'd be really interesting to write a sort of a fictional, what's it called? Like a speculative fiction about a cult leader who does come back. But then like the new cult leader denies the validity of the old cult leader. And then there becomes like a whole, thing. Look, I'd watch that show. That's all I'm saying.
Well, obviously, you've never heard of Justin Craig, LRH 2.0, currently
I
serving
have.
time in prison. Okay.
I have.
My bad. Well, that's LRH. What's the question?
But so what if
yes,
somebody?
I think he would be.
But what if somebody who wasn't cuckoo, was like, "Hey, it's me. I'm back. Sorry, it took a minute," and they actually had, like, privileged information. Like, say they were undeniably that person because they knew stuff only that person would know and whatever. But then you're David Miscavige. You're not just going to step aside. You're going to fight for, I don't know. I'm fading.
Yeah, again, you're totally
My
thinking
brain is
about it. This is
fading.
reality. I don't think anyone's going to come up and recall that they were L. Ron Hubbard in a past life. But let's say you did, right? Like this person asked. I think you would beat the living shit out of Miscavige, use his psychopathic personality to regain the reins, and just continue being L. Ron Hubbard. He's rolling over in his grave on target too, or his spiritual body. He's not in the grave because we live forever, right? So
Was he buried or was he
like,
cremated? Do you know? Is he buried
that's a good
somewhere? Where's he
question.
buried?
I think he would have been cremated. They don't want to leave any evidence around. Shit, you're asking questions that are actually out of my league. Maybe Japan, with his
would
extensive
know.
knowledge, can help us out here. There's one other.
He was
question here,
cremated
man.
and flung into the sea. That's what Chow says. I don't know if that's true. Joni, have you watched Next Level Soul? I don't know what that is.
What about this one, Joni, from Star? Do you think Tom Cruise or John Travolta still audit and do choruses or just donate?
They would have to, right? Don't you have to? You would
This
know
is to
more
test
than
your
me.
knowledge, young lady. What do you think?
I think they have to. Just based on what I've heard other people say. I mean, Tom Cruise is kind of a unique situation. I don't know if he's allowed to rest on his laurels.
I don't know what Tom Cruise is at, but I think he hit OT8 when he was doing OT7. That was right around the time when he was going bonkers on the couch with Katie Holmes and shit. So yes, he was auditing every day then. I think he finished it, and he's actually at OT8. I don't know how many years, but so he wouldn't have any. He wouldn't have any auditing to do technically, but he would always be doing some choruses or some auditing actions that aren't on the bridge. So yes, I think he's involved. And then as far as John Travolta goes, he's kind of he's a hardcore Scientologist, but he's kind of a dilettante when it comes to applying the tech. He's not nearly as hardcore as Tom Cruise. David Miscavige talks shit about him because he's not doing the bridge as much. And I'm sure his out ethics on the 2D, being into dudes or whatever, also plays into that. So I don't think he is still auditing too much, and probably just does choruses once in a while. It's my guess.
I didn't know that Tom Cruise was OT8. So yeah, if you reach that point, do you get to be what is left to audit about?
There's
but he was also, but he was
did more stuff than you can finish, Joni.
He
so there's
did the
always
training
auditing
side, right?
actions.
Like he is an
Yeah, he did.
auditor.
Some of it.
Yeah, because I remember Mark Headley helped him when I remember that in Mark Headley's book that Tom Cruise practiced auditing on him.
Right.
So he was
Yeah, he
trained
is a
to
trained
be an
auditor.
auditor.
Yeah, he's fucking serious about it. How about we ended off with this, my friend? So Japan has confirmed or thinks that Hubbard was cremated, and Chow Their ever-loving humor and snarky way of putting things says he was cremated and flung into the sea. Lovely. Exactly where he should be.
I'm gonna
Friends, thank you very
set
much
up a
for joining
raid over
me
here on
and
Twitch.
Joni. I'm going to leave a link in the description box as to where you can find her, even so she totally downsold her product. It actually does sound very interesting. And Joni, hopefully we'll
It's interesting to a
many more
certain
streams like this.
type of people. All right, so
Goodbye, Rosebud.
bye,
Goodbye,
Caitlin.
My
Thank
TV.
you. All right, so
Bye,
here's what we're
Philosophy.
gonna
Thanks
do.
for joining us, my friends.
We've got a
You have an
closer.
outro.
We got an outro, and then over on Twitch we're gonna raid somebody, and then on YouTube I'll just end it. So after
Awesome.
this,
Let's
okay.
see it.
Bye. Thank you so much, all of you.
Bye, guys.
Always chasing rainbows, we tend to find a little bluebird in
This is my other Twitch show. You would like it, follow it.
Components. Components are beautiful.
Hello, Rose. Please have a chair.
Components are beautiful. Okay. Twitch raid is going, and